She's in love with him. Very much.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is I, and I am him, the one and only Steel Rain. Let me actually adjust some things on the fly right here, real quick, right in front of you guys, because I don't mind doing that. Things happen, right? But anyway, as I continue this intro and get things situated, I want to thank everyone for coming out to support your guys, man. Me and Pong, we've been working on this in the background for a bit, just trying to get stuff situated to bring you guys content that I feel like you guys are gonna love. The energy is high, the appreciation is definitely high, and again, man, we're just looking for you guys to be supportive, and we're looking to give you that fire that only we can provide you. But anyway, as I get things set up, I'm gonna pass it on to my brother from another. Pawn Soul, what's going on, my guy? Oh, you're muted, Pong. You're muted. There you go.
Oh, what would a morning be without technical difficulties? What would the morning be? First episode, we got to have something crazy happen, right? So anyways, let me start over. Good morning. Saturday morning, Steel. Here we are,
yes,
right? This is crazy. Living split screen, man. We are live with our first episode. All these great people already showing up in chat. This is something that you and I have been talking about, Steel, for quite a while. And man, it is crazy to be here. As the meme goes, look at us, Steel. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Not me. Not me,
fact.
right?
That's a fact. So, exactly.
But here we are. And I'm extremely hyped, if you can't tell. Already appreciate everybody coming out. Good morning to everybody in the U.S., to all of our European brothers and sisters. Good afternoon. Thank you for stopping by. We are going to have a great show. We are here to talk about all things across the gaming industry. Right? We are here to celebrate the gaming industry. But here we are. And both you and I love to talk. We want to chat with the chat, and we're about to get down to business. And obviously, let's do it, Steel.
Hell yeah. Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say I apologize again for the technical difficulties. Everything was running fine, man. We had just ran through this the other day, and everything was running smooth. And then I was trying to go live, and it wouldn't go live. And but anyway, either way, we made it through the technical difficulties. We're here now. Everything is looking crispy. Hopefully, y'all are feeling the layout, man. And other than that, look, man, we're here. It's an exciting time. We're here to get you started with your morning. Cup of coffee in hand. I got the Hakuna Matata Lion King ready to go. And with that being said, look, we kind of want to start with some icebreakers, man, just to get the people going. For those who may not know, Pong, so look, you're my brother from another, man, and we've been doing this in the background for a little bit, going back and forth. I know for me and you, at least from my experience, we started off and kind of speaking back and forth in chat. We had a good vibe, just kind of naturally, it seemed like. And then the next thing you know, we're in the DMs talking. So, again, if you'd like to tell the people a little bit about yourself, why, and maybe tell a little bit about why you felt like me and you doing this would be a good thing to do.
Absolutely, Steele. I mean, again, so let's start. Brief history. We're not going to bore the masses out there, but brief history. I'm an older guy, so I'm turning 46 this year. I have been gaming since as long as I can remember. Some of my earliest memories, and I've told this story elsewhere, but some of my earliest memories are of gaming. So, I used to play Pong. Funny enough, right? Pong with my grandpa and my dad back on a little 12-inch black and white TV back in the day. And, that goes back to when I was probably about 3 or 4. So we're talking about late 70s, right? Okay. So that's what started my love. And every single point of my life, video games have been a part of them. There hasn't been any parts that I've gone without. So through the good times, through the bad times, it does not matter. Video gaming has been there, right? And so for me, that's where it all started, and it's just continued. And that, it's funny because, I've been a lone wolf for a lot of my gaming life, right? I've always had friends who gamed, but, and early on, of course, grade school, high school, you got those buddies, and that's what you do. You game, right? 100%. If you're not outside playing, you're gaming. So that's what we did. But then as I got older, man, people outgrew it, and it never was the cool thing back in the day. I went through all the tough parts when gaming was nerds and gaming was, looked down upon and all that stuff. But as I got older, everybody kind of fell out of love with gaming, and I had friends who still gamed. Obviously, Call of Duty drew in a lot of people, the Maddens, all that kind of stuff. But I never had people that around me that were passionate, right? And that loved gaming the way that I did, reading stories and all that kind of stuff. And so, then I jumped into this community, right? And this community, like I said, has been absolutely amazing to find so many people who love this industry the way that I love it and grew up with it with those same types of feelings. Or even some people who just discovered it recently but are passionate about that. And so that's where it led me to here. And then, through that, obviously, Steele, I met this great group of people that I've become very close to. And one of them is you, brother from another. And, from just our conversations and talking online and being with you, whether it be online gaming, whether it be offline, just chatting, it didn't matter. The passion that you bring, the energy that you bring, how you tell things, like you like to say, live, raw, and uncut, that just was something that I could appreciate. And, we had this easygoing nature between the two of us. And, man, I started thinking about this idea. Crazy enough, I never thought I'd be podcasting, right? So just last year when I jumped in this community in August, man, I was like, I'm just going to watch some YouTube channels, and I had started early in 2020, and I was just, looking for new content. The new consoles getting ready to come out, and I just wanted to hear about them. And all of a sudden I found all these people, right? And so I never thought I'd be here. But then jumped to 2021, end of 2020, I hit up, Retro Renegades hit me up and asked me to come on. Always props out to the good boys, Jay, Graphic God, and Retro Renegades for giving me my first shot and let me come on their show. And I had such a blast, and I still didn't think I was going to do anything. But then, all of a sudden, itch started, and I got, I got an invite. I went on Flamish's show, the Flamish Experience, and did that, and stuff like that. So here we are, 2021, and I'm doing all these podcasts, and I'm just loving it. And then I just started thinking, like, you know what, Steele and I, we've got this some sort of chemistry between us. Whenever wherever we are, we just kind of hit it off. And I'm like, I'd love to do my own show, but who do I want with me? who do I want with me? Who do I want to be a co-host with? Not me, the host, and not just, have people come in.
Right.
I want somebody permanent that's going to be on my side, half and half.
Exactly.
I thought of you right away, brother. Hey, here we are.
I appreciate it. And I can do nothing but show you love and appreciation for that, man. Because again, for me, it was kind of out of the blue, man. Because I had that mutual respect for you just because we've been back and forth in the chat. We were always showing so much love. And it kind of became one of those things as we had conversation. It was just like, even I was trying to throw the feelers out there like, hey man, maybe we should get together and have conversation.
I know.
But eventually, like you said, it came to, you hitting me up in the DM, and I wasn't expecting it. And it's kind of like something that I've always wanted to explain and show to other people, because there's this stigma that you can't make friends through gaming. You can't make friends through online, or whatever the case might be. And I have to disagree with it, man. There's so much potential, so much life, and so much, if people love what you do, if people love that energy that you bring, there's going to be people like yourself who are going to acknowledge it and say, hey man, like you said, you were thinking about starting your own thing. And the fact that you even thought of me, man, I can do nothing but sing your praises for that, man. Because look at where we are now. Through technical difficulties and all, and through all the conversations we've had, man, it's been fantastic. And if anything, bro, I want you to know, from the bottom of my heart, man, I greatly appreciate you and everything that you have brought.
Brother.
Appreciate your energy, appreciate the time, appreciate the effort. And again, I just appreciate you just rocking with me, man. Again,
Absolutely.
it's about being organic for me. It's another reason why I wanted to jump in the community, was the organic side of it, the natural energy of it. That's what I'm attracted to personally. And I'll dive that. We'll have a topic that'll lead into that, well, as far as it goes into the idea at Xbox. But yeah, man. So I'm thankful to have you here, bro. And again, a great backstory.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. And hey, tell everybody about your backstory, Steele. Again, let's not bore the people, but I know you got a backstory too. I know you got stories galore. We've talked about them, right?
Yes, for sure.
You're younger than me. You come from a different generation.
Yes.
So that's another cool dynamic between the two of us.
Exactly.
Is that idea that older guys and younger guys, and we got this big giant gap with gaming. That just is the case, right?
Right.
So give them a little background on you.
Okay, so before I jump into that, I saw Rick Payne ask us what we had for breakfast this morning.
Oh shit!
I wanted to get with that because I'm paying attention, Rick. I'm listening, man. Look, for me personally, I only had a Pop-Tart this morning. It's been a little crazy. Brown sugar Pop-Tart. It was great. It's my favorite Pop-Tart, man. You can't go wrong with a brown sugar Pop-Tart. That's me personally. How about you, Paul? Have you had breakfast this morning?
Nope, I fast in the morning, so I'm a faster, so therefore nothing for me yet other than my pre-workout. As you guys can tell, that's my coffee in the morning.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I just, I've done it. I've got the energy, and I'm ready to go. But yeah,
Facts.
No food for me, Rick, yet. Not yet. I'll eat for lunch.
Facts. But all right, so just to kind of jump into my general history. Again, I don't want to bore y'all. And we can make this a deep dive if y'all want to throw questions out there or whatever the case might be. Look. Like Pong was saying, man, I'm a couple decades behind Pong, man. So my initial jump into gaming was through Sega Genesis. Around that time, I can't ever remember the handheld the handheld Sega that they had back in the day. It's not the Mega Drive, because I believe that was what the Genesis was called, right?
Yep.
Either way, I can't think of the name of it at this moment. But there was a handheld device that my father let me play.
Oh, you talking about the Game Gear?
Game Gear. There you go. That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah, of course.
Every time I thought about Game Gear, I was thinking about GameCube, but I was like, that's not what it was.
How could you forget? You had to buy like 20 batteries just to play for like an hour.
That is very true. That is very true. I found that out very early. I didn't care because I wasn't the one buying the batteries at that point.
Right,
I was super young. Of course. But I was playing. I grew up playing Sonic, for example, on Game Gear. I played a lot of Sonic on that, and that just kind of opened my eyes to what gaming could be. And from there, it just kind of took over. It went to the Genesis. and went to Super Nintendo, Genesis, Nintendo 64, GameCube, PlayStation 1, 2. I've been around every single system. For me, gaming, I know a lot of people use gaming as an outlet and everything else, and that's kind of how it is for me. Except gaming has been more of a passion for me. It was something that eventually, I want to say around the first Xbox, when the first OG Xbox came out, you got that experience with Halo. That took it to the next level for me. I had already become kind of a competitive kind of player before, just through Sonic, playing with your brothers, or just playing with people in the neighborhood, playing Super Smash Brothers and Nintendo 64. I was very competitive with my friends. We'd get up early in the morning, 9 o'clock, because, back at that day, for me, I feel like, and that's another point, just to give people some kind of perspective, I feel like I'm the last generation that had the ability to really go outside and not have worries. You know what I mean? Where it was like, hey, you need to be outside by 9 o'clock and be home by the street lights come out. You know what I mean?
Yep. Facts.
So it's like I spent that time, getting together with the friends, playing at the playgrounds, going into their houses, disturbing their parents, playing the game and whatnot, and just being rambunctious. And that's really started the competitive scene for me personally, along with the fighting games. I mean, again, who doesn't love Tekken in the arcade or on the PlayStation? Who doesn't love Street Fighter? Who doesn't love BlazBlue? Who doesn't love Guilty Gear? Like, there's just so many opportunities that were out there.
Did you just say Lost Blue? Did you just say
BlazBlue?
BlazBlue. All right. I was gonna be like, what? But man, that you bringing me back some memories now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I come from that. I come from that kind of era. So you get that OG Xbox. I remember my father bringing home that OG Xbox, Dreamcast 2. I can see where you're going with that. People always say, I've been hearing a lot of people say over this last couple years that Dreamcast, the Xbox is technically the Dreamcast 2, which I can definitely support, because Dreamcast, again, I know me and you have talked about it behind the scenes. Oh, yeah. Dreamcast was ahead of its time, man. A lot of the things that they were doing with that system was just, it was spectacular. And like, even now, it's I have slight memories of it because I didn't have the system for long. It was kind of like Dreamcast, and then not too long after that was Xbox. You know what I mean? Or it was like GameCube that I think I moved on right after the Dreamcast. So, but yeah, just to, I'm trying to speed through the history.
No, man, that's cool. Don't worry about that.
But yeah, so from there it goes into Xbox, and then getting competitive with Halo. To this day, I consider myself a multiplayer first gamer. That's just me personally. Like you, I'm a lone wolf style of player. I'm the guy that you put on your team and you say, as long as y'all doing y'all job, you don't have to worry about me. You know what I mean? If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, we'll win. Don't worry. Yep. And that's kind of how it came up. And then from Halo, I'm pretty sure everybody has a familiar Halo stories. The LAN parties, it's crazy amount of time that I spent with my dad at these LAN parties, hooking up multiple Xboxes, hooking up multiple TVs, and just us staying up all night on custom matches, just getting to it, man. And then taking it to the next level and doing game battles and potentially doing MLG, and just taking it every step further, especially as you progress through Halo 2 and Halo 3, and then Gears came out, took it to a whole completely different level for me. So yeah, man, I mean, essentially, that's me. I'm the lone wolf, competitive multiplayer gamer, who a lot of the times, even to this day,
that was a contradiction right there, by the way.
It is. It is. And a lot of people tend to say that I'm a lone wolf multi. Not nowadays. It's not as bad. But for those who play Gears, man, y'all know what I mean by that. But yeah, I mean, nowadays I consider myself more of a I'm a multiplayer first gamer. Games that have multiplayer in them, it doesn't have to be an end all to be all for me. I do enjoy a solid story, an amazing story. But a lot of the times, because when I was coming up, man, I couldn't buy every game. My parents couldn't buy every game. Oh. So it kind of built in this understanding for me that I had to be picky about my games and what I was going to play and spend my time in. So I guess I could be kind of jaded on that. I do want to acknowledge that. But at the same time, I do feel like I am extremely open to all kinds of games, but I do know what I like. So, but other than that, man, that's just a quick breakdown of me. Again, if y'all like that, we can definitely always get into a deeper dive. In our next show, whatever the case might be, or even if y'all want us to put together something, like, hey man, let's really dive into your backstories. We can definitely do that, man. But I don't want to sit here and bore you guys to death if you guys aren't interested in it. But yeah, man, essentially, that's me in a nutshell, man. Other than that, again, like I was telling y'all before, me and Palm we met kind of naturally, man. Throughout the community. I've only been in the community going on 7 months, man. And the fact that we've been able to find so many great people. I'm not just talking about, I'm pretending. Like, I'm not saying because one thing that I want y'all to understand about me personally, and I'm sure I can speak for Pong also, is that we're extremely authentic. We're going to tell you how it is. We're going to give you our overall opinion. And again, I feel like that's what opens up conversation. How can we have conversation if we're going to judge everything that comes out of each other's mouth? You know what I mean? Let's have open conversation. Let's really talk about gaming. Again, this is supposed to be something that's fun. That's supposed to be enjoyable. It's kind of what I wanted to do with our point with this show was to kind of, yes, I mean, it's for the community, represents the community and whatnot. But at the same time, I don't want it to be heavily negative on the negative side of the community. We want this to be the positives. That's kind of why we didn't necessarily say, oh, well, let's just make it an Xbox show, or let's just make it a Nintendo show, or, you know, we didn't pick a specific kind of show or what we should do. We wanted to keep it open so we could talk about everything, because that's what it's about. Gaming as a whole, not this console war stuff that everybody likes to get into. I mean, because even outside of the community, it's a thing. It's about bringing people together and helping people realize, man, there's other people that may be interested in it, and having a platform that they can pay attention to is what the point is. So
yeah, no, absolutely, still. And you know, it's funny, you hit on so many great points in there, but first of all, can I say something?
Go ahead.
How lucky is the generation coming up right now, actually the past couple generations? Can you imagine being a kid and having something like Game Pass out there and having access? I was just laughing to myself, because when you were talking about, your family didn't buy every game, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's the way it was for most of us. I mean, I had a couple well-off friends who got everything they wanted, but for most of us, and if you got a game for major holidays and your birthday, you were lucky. Right? So exactly. We're talking about like 4 or 5 games a year. Now, you go to Game Pass and you pull up and you got nearly 400 games sitting there waiting for you. Or go to PS Now and you got over 100 games. Or you're just getting free games each month just because you subscribe. Man, the generations now have no idea what it was like.
And it's man. Exactly. and to kind of build off of that, man, just to give you my own perspective, a lot of the times there's a lot of single player games that I chose to purposely miss out on. And even today, again, that's why I kind of say that I may be jaded in a way, because I literally feel like if the game doesn't have a multiplayer connected to it, I'm not really that interested in playing it. And that's just me personally. You know what I mean? And it's not no slight, but what Game Pass has done for me is say, okay, for me personally, okay, well, instead of paying $60 for a game, this game that's in Game Pass that you might have skipped out on, like, I know people's like, oh, there's a bunch of old games in there, but you have to realize that there's games in there that people, for example, like myself, who have been heavy multiplayer gamers or whatever the case might be, and spent almost 2 decades of their life playing multiplayer games, and then having this wide variety and a library of single player games that I don't have to necessarily pay for. I pay my subscription or whatever the case might be, and then I just have endless access. And it gets me to go back and try games, or in to play games that I probably wouldn't have played, before, because I felt like I wasn't getting my full benefit out of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like that goes on as an understatement. I don't feel like Game Pass isn't talked about enough. people like to genuinely downplay it. I mean, and it could be for both sides. For those who are into PS Plus, PS Now, we're definitely not saying that that's a bad service if you're into it or whatever the case might be. And that's what it's about. They got solid titles in there, but each side has their own variety of solid titles. For me, though, Xbox has just kind of opened it up to the point to where I feel like they're putting some pressure on the gaming scene, man. They're saying, hey, like Everborn said, I'm going to say a couple months back, and it's just something that has stuck with me.
Shout out to Everborn, by the way. Everborn Saga, go check out his work.
Facts.
Talented individual.
Tales of Arcadia is on the way.
Man.
I'm telling you, great stuff. And it's something that Everborn said. It's come to a point where our games need to be treated like art, like masterpieces. The fact that a company like Microsoft is saying, hey, we want you to be able to carry your games forward is showing people like myself, gamers like myself that appreciate the gaming scene in total. Because I can always have an opinion, but I'm always going to appreciate gaming overall. That's my biggest thing. You know what I mean? Because it's art. These people spend years of their lives dedicated to this craft, and to put out a game for us, whether we downplay it or whatever the case might be, for them to even do it and put it out there for the world to see, regardless of how you feel about it. It's living art, and the fact that they're saying, we're gonna be giving you the frame boost, giving you the resolution boost, giving you the HDR, giving you the better quality, taking these old games and basically not necessarily giving them a makeover per se, because it's not a makeover. They're just allowing these games to have better performance, or tricking the games to thinking that they got more performance than what they had, and giving them new life. Again, like a Mass Effect is a perfect example. They're putting out the trilogy in its own in one pack. Man, that was a series that I missed out on because I was playing other games. Like, I just didn't have an interest in it at that time. And now that it's being re-released, updated. People that always complained about Mass Effect 1 and all the issues, because I've always heard about those things. And for me, for people like me, it can be a turnoff when you hear these things over and over. It's like, it kind of makes it hard to jump in the series, because also I'm the kind of guy that likes to start from the first game and then work their way through. So for them to re-release this, man, it's like giving life to your art again. And I feel like that can't be understated. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely, Steele. And I think a lot of what you just spoke about, it's very interesting. And hey, just for the chat out there, you guys are amazing out there. Just to lay out some expectations, and you kind of try to, as you're already witnessing what Steele and I had as an idea for this show, you're going to see, we're going to have this free flowing, where we can deep dive into stuff out of the blue. We're not planning on having this big time structured kind of program. So, because Steele and I, this is us, right? We'll talk about crazy stuff, and we'll go off in random directions. So, we want to give you kind of an idea. And also, what was great, Steele, about what you were talking about was the diversity between the reasons why people game, or the actual likes that people find in each system, in each place. Right. And that's another thing that when we talked about this, right, because everybody's going to know me from mainly Xbox centric podcasts, right? Again, this generation, I chose Xbox first. I didn't give it as part of my background, but I've been through the wars. I bought the Atari Jaguars, right? So I've been there. The Sega Saturns, even though it's one of my favorite consoles of all time, I spent a lot of money on Sega Saturn and got burned in the end. So my history brings me to this point where I learned that I have to, these companies have to sell me, right? They have to tell me why I need to buy their product. I no longer go out and blindly just buy things, right? So this generation, I chose Xbox because of Game Pass, right? For the main reason why, because I'm a budget gamer. I have a budget. I don't have unlimited resources, so Game Pass works for me. But again, the diversity that we talked about in this gaming industry and between the two of us, when it comes to how we feel about gaming, I celebrate all gaming. I'm not out here, even though you see me on Xbox-centric podcast, I'm not going to bash just to bash. I will criticize anybody, including Xbox. It doesn't matter to me if they're doing something wrong or if I don't agree.
Right.
But what we're here to do on Living Split Screen, we're here to talk about and celebrate for the most part. Yeah, we'll criticize when necessary, but we want to celebrate the gaming industry as a whole because they are amazing. You'll hear me, you guys, you'll hear me on other shows. You'll hear me here say it nonstop. This is something that Mav, aka Fun Speculation, and I talked about a long time ago when we first started talking. This is the golden age of gaming. I truly believe that. Now, we can have an argument about whether it's there yet or not. I truly believe we're coming into it just because there is more money, more people, more companies, more devs, more everything getting into this industry at this point in history than any other time before. And so I think we're coming into a generation where we are going to see so many incredible things come out of it. And I'm talking about across the board. I'm 100%. Talking about mobile. I'm talking about PC. I'm talking about Nintendo. I'm talking about Sony. I'm talking about Xbox. And whoever else decides to jump in, I don't doubt that Amazon may get some studios together for Luna, which they just created a new studio, and they might come out with some crazy stuff too. Right. And I'm not going to down it just because it's not something I may not play. You know, again, that's not what we're here about. We're here about the celebrate generation, but that diversity that we find in gaming right now is unprecedented. And there's a reason to be here. Like you said, Steele, when you were growing up, multiplayer was everything. You were part of that generation. Yes. I grew up prior to the internet. Okay. That sounds crazy to say. And kids nowadays, they don't understand. I grew up with a rotary phone, right? I didn't grow up with even a cordless phone. We didn't get a cordless phone until I was a little bit older in life, right? So, and people think that's insane. It's like thinking about what your grandparents saw, right? It's crazy. But I grew up, so we were lone wolves unless we were playing couch co-op, right? Unless we were playing split screen. Funny enough.
Exactly.
You know, right? That was our multiplayer. So, you know, for me, I've got both sides of it. I grew up as a single lone wolf, you know, couch co-op kind of kid, and then grew into the internet. So multiplayer for me is fantastic, but it's not, it's not everything. And so when I see Game Pass, I have a buffet because you've got your single players, you've got your multiplayers, you got everything in between, and that's what's great. And like you said, because you being a multiplayer guy, you get to go back and try some of the single player stuff, and you don't feel, because like you said, for you, without the multiplayer experience, sometimes games are a little bit lacking for your money. Like that's something that you expect nowadays. Right. And you can go into Game Pass, and yes, it's not technically free. However, mindset. Exactly. You get to eat cheap. You get to eat for cheap, and you get to find new experiences that you never thought you'd have before. And that is what it's all about. And that's what we're going to see this entire generation. We just saw PlayStation do the $1 deal, which everybody has a problem with. Yeah, we're going to see some movement. I think we can
definitely dive into that a little bit. I definitely want to touch on that. I thought that was interesting.
I'm just saying that I think, yeah, no, exactly. I just think that it means that everybody is starting to see the benefits of having things like this in place, like Game Pass, where not everything is for everybody, but just like Netflix, they have something for everybody. And that's where we're going now, right? That's where we're going now. So,
100%.
And I think that's great. So I definitely feel you there. As far as that goes, and I think again, this conversation is exactly what we wanted to do on this show, and I love it, Steele. So, do you have any final thoughts you want to get out about this?
The last kind of couple things that I wanted to touch on, because you said some powerful things, and then we can kind of touch into that little $1 deal, because that is something that's very recent, and that I did want to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, sure.
Look, like Pong was saying. He was saying that Xbox caught his attention this time around. Game Pass is an undeniable deal for him. That is why he invested in this ecosystem. And that is what it's about. Again, it's about finding what is for you. I've always been the guy to be like, when people ask my opinion on, hey man, what console do you think I should get? It's kind of like, hey, well, what kind of games do you like to play? If you like that single player experience, I'm always going to say, hey, Sony might be the better option for you. If you're a multiplayer gamer, I'm going to say, hey, Xbox might be the option for you. Nowadays, those lines pretty much cross. So now it's about, what are you interested in? Where are your friends at? Or you just play by yourself? Like there's so much much more that goes into it. And I don't want any one person to feel discouraged about having a preference on what they enjoy. I feel like as a community and as gamers, we tend to be extremely fickle and then also very judgmental. And that's not what this scene is supposed to be for. That's not what we're here for. We're here to give
That's where we came from, being judged. That's where we came from back in the day, was being judged for being a gamer. Now here we are doing it to ourselves and to each other. It's terrible.
Exactly, and that's not what this is supposed to be about. It's, again, to just kind of go back on kind of the reason I came into the community. I took that leap into the community as we'll call it the leap of faith, like they do in Assassin's Creed. Just imagine me just diving off. That's just into a pile of hay. That's what I did.
I could do that. I still wish I could do that.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. I tried to do it into a pool one time. It didn't end up too well. My back hurt. It's splashing. Yeah. Well, water still feels like concrete, you know?
Now that's a story I might want to hear later on, bro.
For sure. But but I took a leap of faith in the community because I had always been involved with gaming. I've always been around it. I've been building PCs and gaming since I was around 10 years old.
PC Master Race, everybody. Did you hear that?
You know what I mean? But I've always been a console gamer first, more so, because PC, it does everything. That's the whole point of having a PC. It's not just about gaming. Sure, if you want to build it for that, cool. That's your prerogative. But it's not just for that. PC is so much more than that. But that's what makes consoles great too, because everybody doesn't need to have a PC. Like, I'm not going to be the guy like some people may be to where they're like, yeah, man, you should just get a PC. Why get that when you could get a PC? It's like, no, there's reasons that these things still exist. We're still about 10 to 20 years removed from you just turning on your TV or whatever and just hopping into a game. You know what I mean? Without you having to have a console or whatever the case might be. So what's most importantly, just to kind of round this kind of little discussion out, is look, there's nothing wrong with having a preference. If you love Sony, if you love PlayStation and what they got going on, fantastic. If you love Xbox and what they got going on, fantastic, great. If you love what Nintendo has going on, even though Nintendo feels like they're king of the castle, then that's great. You know what I mean? Ride with that. My biggest thing for me is keep things on a level playing field. Speak, if you're going to speak one way about one side, to speak that same way for the other side. And everybody should be objective in their opinion. Yes, you can have things that you like, but let's be objective. Let's be gamers, and let's keep gaming first. So, yeah, man, I guess that pretty much wraps that conversation up.
That was a pretty nice little bow you just put on there. So I gotta say, man, that's some good stuff, brother. And definitely. I think again, for everybody in chat, everybody listening for the first time elsewhere, when you guys get to this, I hope you see what we are about here. I think that was a perfect encapsulation of what Steele and I are shooting for
100%.
On this show. And that was completely organic. No plans. We could tell we have very loose plans when it comes to what we are going to talk about on this show. And that was completely off the wall, right?
Yeah, that wasn't the plan.
That was off the rip. We had no plans whatsoever to deep dive in any way, shape, or form, but here we are, guys.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can appreciate that. That's what we're going to try to do here. So, I guess, Steele, at this point, we should maybe hit some of the big news this week, because we had a lot of great stuff going on.
We did.
We had a lot of great stuff going down, whether it was gaming shows. We had Future Game Show. We had ID at Xbox yesterday, and then we had news drop about Call of Duty. Rumors are going back to World War II. People are upset about that. It might be time for Battlefield 6 to take its place again. So
let's leave with that. Let's leave with that, actually.
You want to leave with that one?
Yeah, because I feel like that's an extremely interesting conversation, because I do feel a certain type of way about Call of Duty.
Okay.
But if you want to set that conversation up, go ahead, man. What's up with Call of Duty? What is Call of Duty trying to do, man?
Call of Duty is potentially making a big mistake, which wouldn't be the first time for Activision. I'm not going to say Call of Duty is going to die in any way, shape, or form. We know better than that. Okay, look, that ain't going to happen. So let's keep it real. Call of Duty is going to be just fine. When I say that they are making a big mistake here, this is what happens, because they because they alternate devs for each game, right? They have to start planning in advance. So they don't get to necessarily hear what's happening on the ground until it's too late. They've made this mistake before, and it's come back to bite them when they kind of with Advanced Warfare, right? People were kind of excited about it, but people were also very cautious about it because they're like, what do you mean we're going to be able to, do all this extra stuff that I want boots on the ground, right? I don't want to be able to do all this extra stuff. That's not Call of Duty. And they didn't hear that until it was too late. And we saw kind of what happened with Advanced Warfare. So what we're seeing here is because they're cycling these devs, and this is how they've got it set up now, what we're seeing is that they've decided, if the latest rumors be true, and I think that where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's been a lot of smoke here. So it's getting hot. But yesterday, Eurogamer came out with some more sources, inside sources. And again, we always got to be careful. We know sources, it could be whatever nowadays, right?
Exactly.
They could have had somebody whisper to them that, hey, I work for Activision, and this is what's happening to Call of Duty, and they'll run with it, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
So we got to be careful. But Eurogamer yesterday reported that they confirmed, I think it was with 2 different sources, that it is going back to World War II. Okay, and it's called Call of Duty World War. The code name, I know. The code name is Call of Duty World War II Vanguard. Okay, so nobody knows for sure if that's the official name or if that's just a code name until they release.
Right.
But the problem being is that people are burnt out on the older warfare. People are really burnt out. There was rumors out there that it was going to be the Korean War, and people were already kind of upset about that because, again, you're not getting the latest technology. It cuts down on the options for weapons. It cuts down on the options for customization.
Yes.
All the stuff that people
100%.
love Call of Duty for. It kind of takes it. It doesn't take it all away, but it cuts back on what they can do. Sure, they could get creative and they can get crazy, but they generally don't when they do the older warfare games. So, man, that rumor hit yesterday, and I was going through the tweets underneath. I was reading responses, and I went to a couple different places where people were reporting it, and the majority was like, ooh, okay, I want to see what Battlefield's got now. I want to, I might be jumping back into Battlefield because what's happened is Battlefield has ruined all their goodwill that they had. Battlefield back in the day, you could attest to this, Steele. Battlefield back in the day was neck and neck with Call of Duty, if not sometimes above it. With the bad companies,
I was gonna say, but neck and neck. It was kind of up and down. I feel like Battlefield definitely started falling off when Call of Duty became popular. So I can step to see.
But okay, all right. Let's rephrase then, because I guess trying to think back. I'll kind of I guess so. I would say when Call of Duty hit Modern Warfare, the first one, they were neck and neck at that point.
Yeah, facts.
And then Call of Duty started pulling ahead. Okay, so let me clarify. That's better. Thanks, Steele. But again, Battlefield screwed up with Battlefield 5. They didn't listen to the people. They went and did their thing. They brought it back to World War II again after doing a World War I, right? After, and before that was Battlefield Hardpoint, which was the cops and robbers kind of thing, right? Which was cool. It was pretty good. Except it didn't grab the majority of the fan base, right? It didn't do it. And then World War I came, and people were happy with it. From a technical aspect, it was a very good game. But then people got tired of the weapons because, again, the older weapons just don't hold excitement for very long, right? Exactly. And then instead of going back to modern, they came out with Battlefield 5, went back to World War II, launched with so many issues. The spawn points were all screwed up. The maps were terrible. He didn't do anything right, and they lost another huge chunk of their fan base. So, long story, get all the way around to this point, is that now that Call of Duty is going back to World War II, people are upset, okay? People don't want to go back to World War II. Again, people are going to buy Call of Duty no matter what. It's going to happen. It's going to sell like crazy. But Battlefield 6, they have made a commitment. They've taken 2 years, right? Which is rare for them. They've taken 2 years to go back to the drawing board. Now have DICE as always, but they have also added criterion to help with the production, and they have said that they're going back to a modern Battlefield 6, that they've heard the people, that they're going to go back to what made Battlefield great in Battlefield 3 and 4
100%.
after it got fixed. 4 was a mess in the beginning, but after, they're going to increase the destruction. They're going to double the player count to 128. They're going to actually have a battle royale mode. It's not going to be ready at launch. Supposedly it's going to be ready in 2022, but they do have plans for it. They are getting back to what made Battlefield great and made it my favorite multiplayer game. So they have an opportunity, if this comes to fruition and Call of Duty goes back to World War II and makes a lot of people unhappy, if Battlefield 6 hits, if they land and stick this landing, man, Battlefield has a rare opportunity to pull some people back in from Call of Duty and put themselves back up towards that top echelon of multiplayers. Now, there's going to be a lot of competition. We're going to have Halo Infinite coming out as well. There could be a lot of competition coming. But Battlefield 6 has a chance. EA and DICE, you guys got to hit this.
100%.
As a fan, I want to get back to the Battlefield craziness. I want to get back to the advertisements only in Battlefield, as you see guys jumping out of planes, hijacking other jet planes in midair. I want to see all of that from you guys. And I want to see total destruction. I want to get in a tank, and as those dudes, those hated snipers in their little nests up in the buildings, they're picking me off. I want to hop in a tank and I want to drop the building on them. I just want to drop the building on them. That's the old Battlefield that I love. What do you think, Steele? You got any thoughts on this?
For me, I don't understand why Call of Duty feels like they need to keep going back to old content for me. I understand the different stories that you can explain between World War I and World War II. And I still feel like there's certain scenarios that they haven't really gotten into. But again, like you were stating, what they've done with Call of Duty up to this point, it just hasn't been enough. For me personally, it's to the point after Warzone, and we've had this conversation before, but after Warzone, I feel like they did for a battle royale game, trying to stay relevant and everything else, to have a free-to-play game. It is one of the best options that Call of Duty has put out in a very long time. But guess what? That Call of Duty is also modern.
Correct.
I do not think, and I don't want to speak for everybody, because there might be some people like, let's take it back. Let's go back. I want more of that World War II.
There'll be some. I'm a big World War II fan, so don't get me wrong, Steele.
Right.
The last Call of Duty I really enjoyed besides Cold War was World War II.
Oh, right.
I do love it. I do love it.
And we love that. And we like to play zombies in that time. I mean, it's all set up perfectly and everything. We love how their stories goes. But at this time, Call of Duty has not reinvented itself enough to continue to go backwards in progression. For me, Call of Duty has become stagnant. Warzone is probably the most thought-provoking thing that they have done within the last decade. Other than that, they're releasing the same old content. You release a futuristic game, that game doesn't go too well, it's too futuristic, and then you bring it back. And then you make a more modern game, and then you bring it back. It's like, dude, and then now, like before, like I remember back in the day, like there was this big thing between Treyarch and Activision. Like it was like, oh, which one do you like more? Which one do you like more? Now it's become, they're like one and the same. Like you can play Warzone, like the Warzone content is connected to the new Cold War content. It is like now, okay, so now you guys are in each other's pockets. Now they're probably in each other's pockets regardless. I mean, look, they're making the same kind of game. You know what I mean? But it's just like, dude, y'all aren't reinventing enough. Like y'all, it was good because what separates Battlefield from Call of Duty for me is the realistic effect of it. Not only that, but the scope and the battles and what you're able to do, making a squad within your team of, what was it, like 30, 40 people, you know, whatever the case might be that you're on a team with, making squads and seeing your squad hit the top of the leaderboard out of everybody in the lobby, your squad's at the top. It gives you that different feeling. Not only are you fighting against other players, but you're also dealing with tanks, jets, helicopters, capturing points,
good stuff.
trying to push the battle back and forth all the time, keeping it interesting. And Call of Duty does do some of those things, but it doesn't do it well enough for it to be. I mean, again, like you said, people are going to buy Call of Duty regardless. Call of Duty has made a name for itself. It's just like Halo. It's kind of one of those things where, I mean, people can sit here and downplay Halo all they want, but Halo's going to sell regardless. It's the same thing with Call of Duty. It's going to sell regardless at this point. I just feel like people have gotten to a point with Call of Duty, though, that they're starting to see what's behind the curtain. People are starting to see, like, hey, man, look, y'all got to stop. You got to do something different. This same old stuff is not working anymore. You want to make a modern game, and then you want to go back in the day. And we keep telling you that, yeah, after the third time, those old school guns aren't doing it for people no more. And now you're introducing a new generation of gamers who don't have any ties to that stuff, don't care about the previous world wars or whatever the case might be. And even if they do, there's other games that I feel like do it better than Call of Duty can necessarily do it. So for there to be the situation that they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go back, and then Battlefield 6 to be like, no, we're gonna be modern. We're not doing that. We did it. We saw that you guys didn't like it. We see that you guys don't like it. We're gonna make a modern shooter again. Battlefield 4 started off rough, but Battlefield 4. Again, it's kind of like the baseline for it all, because over time, the game still to this day has a ton of people playing it. It still gets a ton of attention. I hopped on a few weeks ago, and it was just having a blast, just kind of reminiscent of the tons of hours I used to spend in Battlefield 4. You know what I mean? Or even Battlefield 3, Battlefield 2. Again, I played these games on PC. There hasn't been a game... I mean, that's kind of the reason why Battlefield is what it is. That's why Battlefield is in its own lane. It's Battlefield. There's a reason people say this can only be done in Battlefield. There's why there's tons of videos about this stuff. Because it can only be done in Battlefield. There's a reason why people say that. And I feel like if DICE really hits this over the head, takes advantage of only keeping it next gen, PC only, or whatever the case might be, opening up to 120 players, 64 on 64, they have a lot of potential to take the war that they like to portray to the next level. And I feel like that's something that people should pay attention to, be hyped for. I feel like, yes, they're going to have competition, but I feel like between Halo and Battlefield 6, Call of Duty might have to sit down for a while, especially if this next game that comes out doesn't hit it for them. And don't let Battlefield drop a battle royale that's good. That's perfect.
Comparable.
They're damn near perfect. And I can see Battlefield doing it because Battlefield is already, it's kind of like with Halo. I have that kind of feel for Halo too. But they already have it set up. The vehicles are already there. The spawn points are kind of already there. You just kind of have to set it up in a certain way for it to work. But I feel like a Battlefield Royale would probably take over the place of Warzone, especially if it's done right. And I feel like at that point, Call of Duty has something to worry about. But again, then it kind of turns into that free-to-play conversation, you know what I mean? Because that's what Call of Duty has working for them right now. You know what I mean? They got that free-to-play model. They figured out what works as far as the Battle Royale goes. But again, I also see people saying that they're kind of Battle Royale'd out. So is it going to be necessary for Battlefield? I don't think so. But as long as they put out a solid game overall, and give Call of Duty and give other shooters a run for their money, again, there's always a first-person shooter that takes it to the next level.
Correct. Yep.
And Call of Duty needs something else. Needs another piece of competition other than themselves to change the gaming scene.
For sure.
And I feel like that's
those
what Battlefield's
pushing. Those two were pushing each other all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, they do different things, but at the same time, there was still that competition. So those two teams pushed and pushed and pushed. Exactly. And you know what? On a personal note, don't let Battlefield bring back classic Gold Rush. Don't let them have the snipers have mortars to bring down buildings again. Look out. It's going to be great. But no matter what, at the end of the day, this is going to be something to watch. It's kind of exciting. As much as we all say that Call of Duty's been played out or whatever the case may be, and we've been doing it for so long, every year in and year out is the top selling, right up there with Madden's and everything else. It is 1 and 2 all the time. It keeps continuing to sell. So no matter what, at the end of the day, this is going to be an intense battle, unintended,
yes,
to watch come this fall. And you know what? Microsoft might have the marketing rights to Battlefield, and Game Pass may be an option.
So, I mean, for sure, and that would definitely open it up. Now, again, the main thing for me is always competition. Call of Duty hasn't had real competition. Again, it seems like they're not competing against each other anymore for real.
Right. They're not.
They're hand in hand now with each other, just kind of bouncing ideas. It seems like to me they're bouncing it. Like, again, before it was like they were in constant competition, like you said, and then now it's like, oh, let's hold each other's hands and make this money together. Which is nothing. Right. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing.
But at the same time, you have to. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you have to do better. And I feel like Battlefield 6 is gonna do that for them. Yeah. It's gonna offer them a competition. They're gonna have to go back to the drawing board and be like, I don't know, that Battlefield 6 over there.
Let's be real. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but Battlefield, they have to go back to when the wheel was round. Okay.
Exactly.
That's for dang sure. We can't have any of these octagon wheels that don't roll very well, right?
Exactly.
Clumsy. We need to go back to when it was round. It was nice and smooth. We're good.
Exactly. Hell yeah, man. But
well, hey, look, another topic killed, brother.
Facts. We've been running through them, killing them, hitting them upside the head.
We didn't even, again, nobody's gonna believe us, but we didn't have this plan. So,
no,
hey, whatever.
It just came cool. Random.
I love it. This is like when you and I are just talking offline, man. So this is good stuff right here.
We're supposed to be, man. Hey, again, natural.
Where do you want to go next? You want to talk about Discord, or you want to go into ID at Xbox? What do you want to do?
We can go into ID at Xbox. I mean, I feel like that's recent. I got some feelings about that.
That's big.
Yeah. But just real quick, again, I want to shout out to everybody in the chat watching this live. We appreciate you guys coming out, experiencing the living split screen morning show, man. I want to call it a podcast, but at the same time, I wanted to be the morning show, the thing that gets you up in the morning, gets you rocking and rolling with energy, and just a vibe that just gets you set for the weekend, you know. That's our purpose. We're here to keep it open. If you guys got questions in chat, shoot them out. That's what we're here for. And we'll definitely look at them when we can get to them, and as we continue to rock and roll. But yeah, I guess I'll start off this time with the whole idea at Xbox thing. And this might be a little controversial. And people might think that I'll be a little bit of a negative Nancy.
Don't tell me you're going there. Don't tell me we're doing this. All right, go.
But look, man. I want to start off because what I like to do is I like to lead with love. Because to be completely honest and be 100%, the show for the ID at Xbox was very mediocre. Needless to say, I feel like it. That's fine. I feel like it's unfortunate that I feel that way, and the only reason that I feel that way. Oh yeah, I know. The only reason I feel that way though, man, is because, and it's kind of like how we talked in the background, kind of like how I talked last night on GRG. And I'm very passionate about this, and that's something that I want people to understand. It's not for my spiel. It's like I'm giving background on it so people don't feel like I'm hitting it over the head. But the spiel
is over the head, brother. Just hit it.
My spiel is more so to keep it open-minded and to let people know, hey, man, this is just how I feel. You got to do better. But look, the reason I say that it was mediocre is because the way that the show was presented was not very well. You cannot show 3 to 5 minutes of gameplay, games, whatever, and then talk for 20 minutes and expect for people to pay attention. It is a problem to me. And then what also was a problem for me personally is that the ID at Xbox is supposed to display indie games. It's supposed to put light on games that typically people like us aren't going to pay attention to, unless you're into indies. Shout out to the indie gamer. I'm pretty sure he was ecstatic for that show last night, and I'm definitely and I'm interested to see how his opinions are on the show overall. But for me, what kills it the most, and again, they could have saved themselves if the hosts themselves would have had the energy to back it up. I'm not expecting for it to be a AAA type of ideal. I'm not expecting for it to be a AA kind of ideal. Somebody was trying to explain to me last night, oh, well, it's indie games. They don't really have a backing like that. They're just working with what they got. And it's like, to me, that's not a good enough excuse. It's not a good enough excuse. You're backed by a $1 trillion company that can at least break you off a little bit of bread to at least make sure that when you're streaming, your video quality is at least solid from both cameras, that your hosts at least have some kind of energy, seem like they actually care about what they're talking about, because that was lacking for me. I was listening to you guys on Boom Show yesterday. I'm just listening into the show, and I'm like, bro, other than these announcements that I'm hearing, the actual conversation isn't enticing.
Right.
And it would be one thing if they were, doing it, they were showing like the ascent and then having the devs come in 5-10 minutes and say, hey, this is what we got going on, this, that, and the other thing, cool. Or if they would have had the people from the games, the big games that people were expecting to seize things from, if we would have got 5-10 minute interviews with them, because people were hype about, these are games that people are genuinely hyped for. And then everything else, like the 20-minute conversations, the deep dives, whatever the case, you could have saved that for after your games showcase. And that's part of the problem. It's the marketing of it. Gaming showcase. When you're saying a gaming showcase, I'm expecting a showcase of games. What you showed me was a showcase of boring conversation. And it's like, I understand people have anxiety, or people have fear. Even me now, I got some butterflies going on, but the energy that I bring is organic. And I feel like part of the problem, the only reason that I really have a problem with it, and why it's a 5 out of 10 for me, because what saved it is the games. The game saved it. All the announcement, when I came home and watched all the games, after I got off of work, I was like, oh, that's exciting. These games that are coming out. Because I'm not an indie guy myself, but I am a game guy. I love the idea of newer titles, these indie people, these indie devs that are dropping new content for the community, because guess what? These indie devs are going to be the ones that are going to push the entire gaming scene. And that's what's important to me. Like, people give indies hate, but you don't need to hate on indies. You need to give, indies need to be shown love, care, and dedication. Right. And I feel like it was kind of a missed mark, because you cannot expect for a show like that to grab the attention of a mass majority. The common consumer is going to see that 4-hour show. They're going to get an hour into it, and they're going to say, what is this? I see the games.
Still, what would happen right now if during our show we just said, hey, by the way, guys, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and just put up a timeout screen? And just walked out right in the middle of all the exciting stuff. We're just going to take a 5-minute break and we're going to leave. How many people would stop listening?
Everybody, I would hope, because that's if that's super lame.
Right.
You have a 4 hours. The show didn't need to be 4 hours if that's the case. Right. And you can say, it's Twitch. That's how they. No, if that's how they do on Twitch, that's why I don't watch that content. You cannot be a content creator and be dry. You cannot be a content creator and have no energy, no love, no passion. That's like one of my biggest problems in when I wanted to kind of tie into this conversation of why I stepped into this scene, because I did not see enough people giving the organic energy, the organic vibe, the organic love, care, and affection for gaming overall. I don't have to love PlayStation to be able to talk about their games or be hyped for it, because I know what they do. I don't have to be hyped, for example, in this conversation about indies, for me to be able to enjoy and love what indies bring, because that's what it's about. That's what's important. Right. But when you come across, like, the biggest problem for us as gamers is getting the mass majority to understand what gamers are about, what gamers are, because there still is this stigma for gamers. Gaming's lame. It's only for this kind of stereotype or whatever the case. And when you have shows like that, it demonstrates to people that gaming is still this niche thing. I mean, and we could sit here and say, oh, gaming's blowing up. But I sit here and have conversations still on a damn near almost everyday basis with people where they're like, gaming's all right. I don't really care about gaming. That's a waste of time. And it's like, wow, okay. We can have It's like I can have a detailed conversation with you about it if you're genuinely interested. But if you're not genuinely interested, if you see it as a child's product, that's kind of my problem with Nintendo, because they kind of treat it like a child's product.
Nintendo slander first show?
No, Nintendo slander. I can't give Nintendo slander.
Nintendo fans, I respect the hustle, so stick around, all right? Don't leave, all right? Everything's gonna be fine. Don't leave.
And facts, and I'm right there with you. I respect Nintendo's hustle too, the same way that I respect all these companies' hustle. They're gonna, at the end of the day, they want you in their service, they want you to spend some money, and they want you playing their games, and that's what it's about. But I mean, you gotta call a spade a spade. You gotta call real for what it is, and acknowledge it, and say, hey man, that wasn't it. Again, boom, one of the most positive people in the community, man. To hear him be so deflated by it, is kind of a demonstration for somebody who's so positive. And like, he's way better than me sometimes, where like how overly positive he can be about things. And for him to sound so defeated, for example, can only put in a perspective, along with you guys, because you guys were just like, weren't exactly happy about it. But the number one thing that was like the biggest takeaway from it was the games. Nobody's arguing that the games were bad. We love what we saw game-wise. You can go to YouTube right now, watch a 4 or 5 minute clip of all the games and trailers that they dropped. You'll be like, oh yeah, man, this is fucking fantastic. But then when you watch that show, like again, I came home and I watched that show for an hour, and now the voices were off, the recordings, them talking was off. It didn't feel organic. It didn't come across like anybody cared about it. And again, using the excuse, oh, indies don't have any real big financial backing, is not good enough for me. You have the backing of $1 trillion company that can at least give you guys a little bit of money. At least, for us to have technical difficulties is one thing.
Yeah.
It's our first show. We're having technical difficulties. And somebody brought this up. Oh, well, indie games they've only been doing the show for a while. And it's like, indie games they've been doing this since when? 2013?
Right.
Really making a specific scene for indies?
Well, and that's why they turned it over to Twitch in the first place, was to have a higher production value, or what they thought would be a higher production value. Obviously, due to the pandemic, I think Microsoft has always done a show with ID at Xbox, right? They've always done presentations and given these games the spotlight, but they had so many games to do. It's kind of like, I feel, and I don't, obviously nobody knows what the talks were like, but It almost feels like they said, okay, look, we've got all this stuff going on. We still got the pandemic that we have to worry about. We still got people working from home. We're not fully up to speed the way we used to be. So let's outsource this to somebody who's doing things like this right now. And it's Twitch, and it's a great partner from the standpoint that a lot of the younger generation does go to Twitch, and they do like the style of format, right? It's just that for the average, or for us, the hardcore gamers, we like to consume our information differently. But the reason why they went to Twitch is because Twitch is used to doing things and producing things like this. It's just that the format, like you were talking about, and I was on Boom's show, and the format is just what killed it, like you were saying, Steele. Pacing. It wasn't about the content. My God, look at the list of games, people. The list of games are incredible. This is what I'm talking about. We are just scratching the surface of what is coming down the pipeline, right? These were just some of the indie games coming out this year and next year.
Exactly.
Right? This is crazy, right? And so that itself was absolutely beautiful. But we as the gamer community, we like to consume our things in shorter bursts.
Right.
You give me an hour long, you give me a 2 hour long program filled with trailers, with little behind the scenes stuff, 2-3 minute interviews. Dude, I'm set. I'm going to grab my popcorn. I can guarantee you on Boom's show, we would have been rocking and rolling for that whole entire 2 hours, even though Boom only said it would be an hour show.
Oh, he would have sticked it up.
he would have kept going. He would have kept going. There was different ways you could go about this, and that's what we talked about too. Was, you know, if you wanted to do it this way, okay, you could have, first of all, given all of or the majority of the highlights up front, and then put the interviews on the back and said, stick around, guys, for those of you who want to hear more about maybe some of those games that you just loved in there, stick around. And we're going to have some developer interviews. We're going to have some behind the scenes stuff. You might even see some clips you didn't see when we first showed, right?
Exactly.
You could even entice it that way. Say, stick around. Could have totally done that. And it would have worked out perfectly, because me, and I'm more of an indie guy than you are. I'm certainly no indie gamer. Indie, shout out to Indie in the chat. I'm certainly not him, but I'm more of an indie gamer. I look for, again, you're a gamer, so you like all games. I'm a gamer, I like all games. But again, indie games to me have a little special place in my heart. So but and these developers who are, up and coming developers, they're small teams, 1, 2, 10, whatever, 20 people, putting their heart and soul in these games, deserve a spotlight, because they're going to get 100%. Lost. Nowadays, they are going to get lost in the shuffle 100%. Of the big AAA, AA bangers that are coming out nonstop right now. They're going to get lost. So they need to be given this time. And I truly do appreciate their stories and why they developed the games. The other way that it could have been done would be to do a full highlight reel, have your girls at Twitch at the desk, introduce each game, get excited, say, oh man, look at this, Bill, come back and have their little banter about what they just saw. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But then what they could have done is created a whole separate, Xbox could have done it, Twitch could have done, whatever. Create a individual blog or video post for each individual game, so that when people get done watching the show, because most of us are either writing down or indexing, hey, I really like that game. Hey, I really like that game. Or we're going to go back and watch it and say, hey, I really like that game right there. I want to learn more about that game. And then you could go back and deep dive that specific game that you were interested in and get to know about it. If that's what you wanted to do, give it the option, so that you're not forced. So you're not forced to sit through 4 hours, which your attention span, again, we have pretty good attention spans. We do podcasts for a couple hours. Man, come on. Seriously. Breaks after you just did a 15-minute interview, break for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it was, come back and do another 15-minute interview. That's crazy. That's not exciting to anybody out there.
No. Not at all.
And again, as much as I love hearing from these devs, and I want to do it on my own time. I just was there to see the game showcase. Spotlight is important. I'm glad Microsoft knew that it was important enough to work this out with Twitch. I give them credit for doing it. If they could not do this internally, if that's part of the reason, or if they thought that Twitch was going to bring a broader audience and showcase these indie titles, I give them all the props in the world for doing this, because I'm sure it cost them big bank to do it. I'm sure this was not a low production value kind of thing, right? This is a lot of organization, a lot of putting together. Some of those interviews, those were long,
in depth.
man.
Yeah, they were in depth.
Sitting down. Yeah, I mean that was like watching E3 interviews where they sit down on the couch with whatever N4G and talk for 15, 20 minutes while they're watching video. It was crazy. It was good. But at the end of the day, for the presentation for us on a Friday, knowing full well that people like us in the community are going to want to talk about it, are going to want to broadcast it live, have live reaction shows, all the stuff that goes into building hype, for them to go out and decide to do this, I just think it was the wrong format. They didn't take into consideration all that was involved when you look outside of it, when people are trying to watch this type of content, or when they're trying to produce their own content to hype your content.
Exactly.
It's just not the right format for it. Again, the games, and we'll talk about the games that they showed off, man. My history, man, I'm blown away. There's some crazy stuff coming out, but for me, it was just a format that killed the show. Right. Period. Point blank.
Right, exactly,
That's
and I mean, and that's exactly what it was for me too. It was the format and the pacing. Again, the big thing for me, if you want to have this kind of a spotlight, and I agree on some points. I do have to disagree on one point with you is I don't feel like they put a heavy investment into this. I feel like it kind of came across like they gave it to Twitch and said, "Hey, y'all handle it. Here's the interviews and everything, and y'all take care of it. Just put it together. Just put it together for us." I hope not, but again, that is the way that it comes across. I don't understand how someone on the marketing side, or whatever the case might be, show side, whoever's running the shows can sit there and say like, yeah, man, that's it. Yeah, do it just like that. That's perfect. People will love it. No, man, like where have you been at? In a shell? Again, like you said, if they would have showed the in-depth interviews after the show and said, hey, here's an hour and 30 minutes of content, and then here's another hour and a half of us just doing deep dives and talking about, you remember that game we showed you earlier? Here's a deep dive.
Right.
But that gives you the opportunity to do it within your own time. And it doesn't make it any better when you have people hosting an event, and this could be any event. You know what I mean? If you're hosting an event, doing a live stream, again, you're doing it with people that are from Twitch. I can't tell. The energy wasn't there. The excitement wasn't there. It came across fake. It came across forced. You know what I mean?
We saw that last year with Keeley's show, right? When he brought the wrong people in to introduce the Xbox experience and to introduce the Xbox, what they were going to show for Xbox. He invited the wrong people. Again, personal feelings of Keeley aside, respect the man for what he's built up over there. That's besides the point, what he brings. And I know everybody's got their own thing with him. But the point being is you bring in the wrong people, or you bring in people who aren't genuine about their excitement for what they're about to see and talk about, you're going to notice that right away.
Exactly.
Like if you and I weren't in love with the gaming industry right now, man, everybody be able to tell, right? Everybody be able to know.
You know, Pong, if I want to... You know, we could talk about this, and then we can, I'm sad.
Did you see those new games coming out? They look pretty cool.
Yeah, they're all right, man. You know, I only like a few of them, man.
I'd like to see something different. Maybe dogs and cats or something.
Hey,
I don't know.
Oh man, that gameplay, man. I'm so. Oh yeah. Oh, they were shooting each other, and man, I'm so excited.
Bang bang. There was like loud noises.
Oh. It's like, no, man, I can't handle that.
No.
So I'm 100%. I'm 100% there with you on that for sure.
Yeah.
It's
No, I mean, I will criticize where criticism is necessary. Again, the show went off without a hitch. As far as getting the content out there. Now that after the show, there's plenty of people putting all the clips together, putting out the trailers, so you can go back and watch it the way. But again, just like a Boom show, had to cut it short. And you know what? I found myself not even wanting it to have it in the background while I was working. I didn't even want it there because I knew I was just going to be annoyed with it. so I turned it off and I waited until it was over, and then I started watching all the trailers and catching up on everything that I missed afterwards. And again, let's transition into what we did see. I think that topic has been killed unless you got something more to say.
That's pretty much it. Go ahead, man. I mean, I definitely that's what's most important.
Let's transition into the games, right? So, man, the amount of games they showed yesterday was insane.
Yes,
like
100%.
Literally, I knew, like they had put out the blog post, right, and they had talked about they were going to show over 100+ games or whatever it was, but I had no idea that they were going to show off as much as they did. Yeah, there was some games that actually missed the show that I was kind of surprised of, like the Tunic.
Did they show Scorn?
Tunic, right? No, they did not show Scorn either.
I didn't think so.
So very surprised at some of the games that weren't there. I didn't get my hopeful review of Hades. Obviously, they pulled that back and said it was a mistake. I was hoping that was like a super secret. Oops,
right.
Shouldn't have done that. We're gonna pull it back and tell everybody it was a mistake, but then it's actually gonna be there. That didn't happen, so I was kind of disappointed in that as well. Obviously, it's something I've been looking forward to for a long time. But from what they did show, man, we got to see some crazy stuff. The Ascent.
Yes.
They started off the show hot. The Ascent trailer. Okay, look, Steele, you and I are both of the same mindset with this game, so we're
100%.
going to be talking to each other here.
100%.
And I'm sure most of the people in chat, anybody who's seen the Ascent has got to have a little glimmer of interest in this game.
Yes.
Because what they showed yesterday, the hype levels, I don't know if they can get higher for me on this game, but they simply are living up to those levels, and sometimes beyond with what I'm seeing. Like every time we see it, it has gotten better.
Exactly.
Like each time they show more, even on their social media, and that's why I was kind of thinking they might stealth drop it yesterday. Although nobody got the review codes.
Right.
I talked to Archimedes and nobody had gotten the review codes yet, so he said don't expect it. But
Okay.
but for me, the way this social media has been building up, their social media, whoever manages it is fantastic.
Oh, yeah,
by the
they're
way.
on point. They're on point.
Oh man, I've had some back and forth. I don't know if you've seen it still. I've had some back and forth with them. They are on it. They respond to the people in the community that talked back to them, and it's great. But they've been hyping now for almost 2 months straight. They've been putting out these little clips. But then yesterday we got a full new look at it. I wish it would have been more. I was expecting a little bit more, and we didn't even get a developer interview, which I thought we would have.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, for
was
all
one of
the
the
other ones we
ones.
did. Yeah, exactly. But anyways, the Ascent just keeps looking better and better. And what they showed yesterday was a hit. I love it. I've gone back and watched it a few times. You know, just the effects, the environment, the whole feel that they've gotten for that game. It's amazing. They've nailed the cyberpunk
Love it.
feel. So the Ascent was fantastic. Art of Rally. Now this is an indie gamer favorite.
I'm
I
excited.
watched him play this on his stream, and I asked him if it was coming, and he said, "Yeah, it'll probably come to console." But man, I was so excited to see it there, and not only to see it. And if anybody doesn't know, Art of Rally is like a RC Pro-Am, but kind of Forza RC Pro-Am. Let's put it that way. If anybody remembers RC Pro-Am from back in the day, remote control cars around the track with that 3/4 kind of view, that top-down kind of view, but it's more sim than that, right? And Art of Rally is something special. And as a racing fan, I cannot wait. And it's dropping in the Game Pass. It's dropping in the Game Pass. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Ecstatic.
Ecstatic. And then we had obviously was kind of not surprising, but surprising. Among Us actually showed up, and they are dropping it, and it's coming to Xbox. And I know this is a big deal. It's not for me. It's not a game for me. But again, I understand why people love it, and it's a huge deal. You know, Among Us is coming, and they're gonna drop the new huge level. I forget what it's called. It's something with a ship.
I think it's the plane. Is it a plane or is it a ship?
I thought it was like an air. Is it an airship?
Maybe I think it's an airship. I think it's an airship.
Yeah.
I think it's
See, look at us combining.
There you go.
Look at us combining. Yeah, air and ship. Yeah.
Voltron.
So, but they're dropping a new level with it too. So very cool for all the Among Us fans out there, and I'm sure it's going to just continue to get bigger as they drop this in the game. You know, obviously, having this many people ready to rock and roll with it, I'm sure it's just going to continue its assault on the charts because. You know, it's a big game. Again, not for me, but I understand why people love it, and I got plenty of people who do love it. So, Astria Ascending. This is a 2D hand-drawn JRPG dropping into Game Pass day and date, man. And this is from some veterans of the industry that have worked on Final Fantasy. Oh my God! This thing reminds me of Dragon's Crown from Atlas back in the day with the hand drawn. That was a huge hit. Especially, I shouldn't say huge, but it was big. Let's put it that way. A lot of people played that. Yeah, but hand drawn JRPG. This is right up my alley. Going into Game Pass day in day one. This is what Phil was talking about when he was talking about bringing the diversity from Japan and the Asian markets over into Game Pass. These are some of the fruits of labor that we're seeing, along with like Octopath Traveler that just dropped into Game Pass. Right. That's why I love to see this. Now this is my lone wolf stuff right here. This is the good stuff, right? This is what I grew up on. So I'm excited, right? So everybody go check out. It's Astria Ascending. It's from Artisan Studios. Again, go look at who's working on this. It's insane what they've done in the past, and this looks nothing short of stellar. So I can't wait for that one. I mean, we could sit here all day, man. Let me Last Oasis For anybody who doesn't know, Last Oasis is a survival MMO along the lines of Ark, along the lines of Conan. And they actually did a surprise drop yesterday. So early access is now available on Xbox. You can try 1 hour for free. The game itself, early access game, is $30, $29.99. So not too expensive. I played my hour last night. Gotta say, pretty impressed. You and I were talking before the show, Steele, about this. You know, I wasn't a big Ark fan.
I'm not either.
My kid loved Ark. He was, oh man, he had a big crew and they build dinosaurs and go to war with other crew. Man, it was crazy. Like, I saw some of his videos, man. It looked fun, but to get to that point was not fun for me, right? So Conan, I liked, but it just didn't hold me. It didn't take.
I get that.
This one last night, I could see it taking me. Anybody who doesn't know, Last Oasis is obviously okay, so what's happened is there's been a major event on Earth and basically stopped the Earth from spinning.
Ooh.
Okay. One day actually lasts 1 year. So a full cycle is actually 1 year just for 1 day. So you're in the sun all the time. So people have to avoid the sun. Otherwise they burn to a crisp. Basically the entire world's turned into a desert, right? So you're kind of living that nomad Mad Max lifestyle. But the hitch with this one is, yes, you have to gather your stuff and you have to build and you have to do all that kind of stuff. But you get to build these crazy mechanized like land walkers, right?
Yeah.
And they can be really small single person, or they can be these gigantic, like, you know, 10, 15 people aboard kind of land crawler walkers across the desert, right? And so that's kind of that's kind of how they hook you in. So I spent 1 hour. I knew I only had 1 hour, obviously, so I rushed through and got to the point where I actually built one of these little walkers, and man, it was fun. It was fun. So that's one to check out. Another one, Moonglow Bay. Now this was that quirky. It reminded me of the Tourist with the block style, Minecraft style. I don't know if you saw this one, Steele.
Yeah, I did. I think they talked about this one a little bit too.
Yeah, this was one of the first interviews that went for like 15 minutes, and everybody was like, "Okay, come on, please." Very interesting. I love the backstory, and they were, you know, the pair of them were obviously excited about their game, so totally cool. But the interview went on for 15 minutes. But Moonglow Bay, that's just something. It seems like a chill game. One of those games you just kick back with. You do some fishing. They got couch co-op in this. I wish there was some online, but you know, whatever. Couch co-op. You just kick back and you do some fishing. You do some little RPG stuff. You try to figure out what's going on in the town. There's some strange stuff happening.
Right.
But man, this just seems like one of those chill games. I love these types of games, man. This game I'll have. This game is something else that I'll have in my system, and I'm going to be enjoying. You know what, Steele? Why don't you give? I've given plenty of mine. Why don't you give some of your highlights?
Oh,
Anything
for sure.
You saw that stood out.
A lot of the ones that you went on about are pretty much the same ones that I would kind of pull my attention. Last Oasis. I was actually looking at it last night because I didn't know that it stealth dropped. Because apparently it's on PC also. But I was looking at it and, man, it definitely looks like an interesting experience. For me, survival type games can be kind of a turnoff sometimes. Just because they're
not my favorite either.
I like realism, but at the same time, I have a real life, so it's like, you know, let me get to the action. You know what I mean? That's why I don't play games like Ark or games that are similar to that style. But Last Oasis pulled me because I've always been a mech kind of fan. You know what I mean? And that mech aesthetic to it would pull my attention. The fact that you can build these crazy spider looking or whatever. I saw people even flying. You know what I mean? Or you can glide in the air. Your person can glide. I was like, oh snap, that's interesting. That pulls my attention. That's what I'm looking for. So that Last Oasis was definitely something I almost pulled the trigger on it last night. I'm not gonna lie, just to jump into it and try it out. Even if I didn't end up liking it or continue to play it, I wanted to try it out. But But it definitely pulled my attention. Art of Rally, like you said, I'm excited for it as a racing fan, as a car fan, as a Forza fan, as just as a dirt fan. I was more in love with the Colin McRae series because they was a little more realistic. They had a little more realism to it. But Art of Rally looked like something that I need to play as soon as I can. And I know I could probably get it on PC right now, but again, if it's going to be one of those games that's coming to console, why not get those achievements for it if I can? You know what I mean? And it's like you were saying, it's like an RC kind of style game. It kind of reminded me a little bit of, not necessarily, I was going to say Revolt. But not necessarily Revolt, because Revolt still had more of a I don't know if you remember Wipeout, or like any of the other racers where you got to pick up items and you get boosts and whatnot. Right. Not necessarily it's that level, but as far as like the overall aesthetic of like driving and how the cars felt or whatever the case might be, had kind of like that feel to it. But I love the art style that they said that they put on it. They made it simplistic. They were saying the best game that's in this style. You know what I mean? So they know that they've hit some kind of a market for that style of game, and it looks really good, man. I'm excited for it. When it comes to console, I might even download it here in the meantime, just to play it on here and maybe get some gameplay of it, because it looks like something that it looks like something you don't have to take seriously. You know what I mean? Right. You just hop in, drift around some corners, and I just have a good time with it. It's like a relaxing, I believe that's what they said in the trailer too. It's like a relaxing kind of driving game. You know what I'm saying? It's just something to have a good time with. Astria Ascending, like you said, it looks like an interesting game. I myself, I'm not a fan of turn-based games anymore. I used to be back in the day, but now it's just I'd rather be 100% involved in the action. I'd rather be the one that's doing the moves, and it's everything where everything is like determined on what I do as a player. I know you could say that for those games also, for the turn-based games, but it's just that style doesn't quite fit what I like. But I do love what they're doing.
Hey, Steele, don't worry. I'm going to enjoy it enough for the both of us. So
hey,
don't worry.
And that's what matters.
That's fine.
That's what matters. I definitely want to, I definitely want to see whether it's you or Mav or any other people, in our group that ends up playing it. Y'all dive into it. I definitely want to watch y'all, get into it, because I love the art style. From the creators of Final Fantasy, the way that they're going with it, I like what they're doing, especially from an indie dev. I like how they're approaching it, and it seems really interesting to me. Hello Neighbor 2, I know it's a big thing for a lot of people. It pulled my interest a little bit. I just like the aspect more so. Again, it's not one of those games that I'll be like, let me dive into it, but I love the aspect of a game that has an AI built in that adjusts to the player. Yes. It's not the same experience.
What I said on Boom Show yesterday was it was like a drive-atar.
Yes,
that's what it reminds me of.
Exactly. It's like a drive-atar, but taken to that next level. You know what I mean? Like the AI is literally, if you keep doing the same things over and over again, the AI is going to figure you out. You know what I mean? Kind of like you were saying, like with the whole drive-atar thing. I think that needs to be used more often in gaming. It's one of those things that I loved about Shadow of War. Is that Nemesis system. Nemesis system is unmatched to me. Imagine a system like that with ever-learning AI or like Drivatar in all your games, or single-player games, or multiplayer
That's why they
games.
Copyrighted it, right?
Exactly.
Patented, I should say.
Patented. I feel like that's kind of the next evolution in gaming, as far as like, especially when it comes to single player games, you need to have the AI be ever learning, ever evolving, always changing, so that your game doesn't become stale. It doesn't become because that's what people do. It's kind of like in Destiny, for example. It's the easiest example that I can get. You run strikes over and over again. You pretty much know exactly how the strike's going to go. You're gonna get here as fast as you can. You're trying to finish the level as fast as you can, and then get it over with. Whereas if they had like a Nemesis system in it, for example, you wouldn't know what to expect. You can try to rush through it if you want, but there might be a whole set of enemies now. Instead of to the left, they're on the right side, and then now you got guys coming behind you because the enemy enemies adjusting to you. And I love that. And I feel like Hello Neighbors have really been doing well with that. Again, a lot of people have been enjoying it. It seems like it's been getting good credibility.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to shout that one out. Mungo Bay. Again, main talking point.
Would you copy my list? Did you copy my list here or what? I was hoping you're coming up with different.
There's not much else. I mean, you got Little Witch in the Woods. You got Library of Ruins.
Yeah.
I was just trying to keep it more so the games that kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah.
Like they say, great minds think alike, right?
True.
Moonglow Bay was all right. The only reason I'm bringing this one up is because it's one that they talked about for 15 minutes. I sat there and listened to it for 20 minutes. So it was like
See, it worked. It worked. It got in your head.
Yeah. Yeah, but it worked, but it didn't work. I was also like turned off by it. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that now. Again, it's not gonna be in a lot of these games that we're talking about. They may not be games for everyone. Again, and that's kind of that's the other angle that I'm coming from. Just because, like I've been saying, just because every single game isn't meant for me. These are the games that piqued my interest and that I felt need to be brought attention to, because these are like some of the heavy hitters. You know what I mean? And it's kind of awesome that we're kind of on the same page, because that just kind of shows you, these are where the conversations could have went, where we would have liked them to see, for example.
Correct.
But just to get into another one, Stalker 2.
Oh yeah.
I didn't hear you talk about Stalker. So Stalker is one of those PC games that a lot of people are like in love with. Like it's one of those like classics. Like people
I'm
are
not
like
even
Stalker.
a PC guy. I'm not even.
But you know about
guy.
it.
Yeah. Oh,
Exactly.
I played at my buddies. I play with my
see?
buddies' PC all the time. Yep.
See, exactly. In Stalker 2, especially with how that game is looking, from an indie dev, from somebody that doesn't have major backing, bro, that game looks insane. And I'm not usually a scary, kind of guy, but those psychological thrillers, I'm definitely for. Like Hellblade, oh man, I can do that all day. It's still creepy with the voices and all that, but I can do that. You know what I'm saying? And Stalker 2 seems to kind of be taking it to the next level. As long as they don't go to like a fear level, I think I'll be all right. You know what I mean? But
that's right. Yeah.
Stalker 2 with what they're doing, again, it kind of shows you, as what I was preaching earlier, the potential of what indies can do. Who knows? Stalker 2 could set the scene as far as that genre goes for the next decade. Who knows? They can put things in there, set the game up to where it becomes another classic. You know what I mean? Right. It already has the fan backing. Now it's just, is the game going to deliver? And from everything that we've seen so far, I have some faith in it. I'm definitely willing, out of all the games that are displayed, I definitely am willing to give that one a shot, 100% all the way. I'm even thinking about pre-ordering it. It just looks extremely interesting. Ascent, man, we've been going back and forth about the Ascent since we've heard about it. Again, day one, as soon as we can. I mean, it's co-op. We're gonna be in there just taking names and just destroying everything. I love the twin stick shooter aspect. I grew up with Metal Slug, you know what I mean? Those types of games, Contra, and it had those kinds of aspects to it that gave me reasons to love it. It was over the top. It has that cyberpunk feel that even with the recent edition of Cyberpunk itself, I thought Cyberpunk was a solid game overall, especially for putting you in that environment.
You know my feelings.
Bringing that environment to life. I feel like the Ascent has taken it that step further. And just pulling you in more into the actual world. Even as a twin stick shooter, it kind of shows you that you don't have to be third person behind over the shoulder for you to get this, or even a first person game to get the imagery across or get your imagination going or involve you into this world. And I feel like that's what the Ascent is doing. Again, they're coming across extremely confident to me, even though like we haven't heard anything from the devs. This is one of the things from all the conversation from yesterday. Is one of those conversations I feel like we missed out on. I feel like it should have been there. Like, they said, oh, well, we're going to show you some more gameplay. We don't have much else to say right now. But I was at least expecting to have a 10-minute conversation with them to see where their headspace is at. Just to kind of, I guess selfishly, to kind of, bring that hype level up for me more. You know what I mean? Because, again, they, not for lack of a better word, they come across cocky. I don't want that to be like a bad thing, but
No.
they have faith in their product. And again, it's just not a huge team working on this game.
No.
What is it, like 10, 15 people?
It's 11.
11 people.
11.
You have 11 people working on this game, and this game looks like it's so deep. It's so rooted that as soon as you start playing, you're gonna want to
Detail.
You're not gonna want to put it down. The detail, yes. The explosions, the guns, the
environment is just
bro.
crazy.
They're doing so much, and I'm excited for that game. So I'm ready to hear whatever next news that we're gonna end up hearing about that. It's one of those. Other than that, man, as far as like what I was necessarily interested in, that pretty much is it. I do kind of want to run down the line of all the main games that kind of hit the topics. And there's some that we probably didn't mention. And again,
there's plenty.
And again, not to pull the attention away from them. Again, every game isn't for every gamer, like Boom likes to say. Shout out to Boom. And that's a fact. You know what I mean? But here we go. You got Art of Rally, Astria Ascending, Backbone, Boyfriend Dungeon. I don't need a boyfriend in a dungeon.
What? Wait, hold on. What is that one again? Who makes that? Let me look that up real quick.
Boyfriend Dungeon, Kit Fox Games.
Okay, good. Thanks.
I thought you might like that one. No.
Hey, before we do this, we should both give a shout out to Song of Iron. I was thinking that you were going to touch on Song of Iron.
Thank you.
So I let it go, but Song of Iron, for anybody who doesn't know, single developer Joe, he's a part of this community. He has
There's
been
another
here.
one too.
Dude there is another one. I'll let you take that one. But Song of Iron, man, what Joe got to show off yesterday was huge. Love that guy. Love the work that he put in.
100%.
Quit his main job to work on his passion project,
Dedication.
which is Song of Iron. And you can see it. What he's added to that game, if you go back and look at his dev diaries are awesome. They are out of this world. They give you a behind the scenes view of what it takes to create a game as a single person development team. It is insane. Go check it out. But Song of Iron, Joe, shout out to you, man. What you showed off yesterday. I don't know if you ever listen to this podcast, but man, you and I have had some great discussions, and I just wanted to shout it out. I thought Steel was going to do it, so I didn't want to steal it, but no pun intended that time. But anyways, I just thought what you showed yesterday, Joe, where you came from, all the new environments that you've added, all the different effects that you've added, the new weapons, and out of this world, crazy hype for you. That's coming out late this summer, or you're shooting for this summer, so we should see something soon. Can't wait for it. Go ahead, Steel. Take another one.
Yes. Before I go forward, because this is another important one, and I appreciate you bringing up Song of Iron, because I felt like I was forgetting something and it wasn't in my notes.
That's good.
But I talked about it last night because it got me excited. Song of Iron, bro. I've just been paying attention from the time he started coming out with information, and I feel like it's been 6-7 months since I came into the community. It's like I've been paying attention to that game because he's doing so well with it, man. Compared to where, like, when we first started seeing some touches of it, some glimpses of it, to what he showed yesterday, I was bro, I'm ready for that game to come out. Hey, man, again, salute, shout out to him. He was making his rounds made plenty of interviews. Definitely check him out. He's an outstanding guy. Again, dedication, passion, and love. That is something that, for an example, dev like that, we got to support him, man. That's what it's about. And again, us putting that on notice is so important. Real quick, again, much love to everybody in the chat, everybody that's here watching us live, man.
I was next.
We're 20 live,
over 20. We've been over 20,
with 32 likes, man. We got a good ratio
first
here,
episode.
man.
Are you kidding me right now? 32 likes, 20 people watching.
I'm in love.
Shout out to everybody, man. Oh, you guys are best.
I greatly appreciate it. Hey, hit that like button if you haven't hit it. Again, much love to you guys. Hope you're loving the energy, loving the vibes. Again, man, living split screen, man. We're the morning show for your Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Come check us out. Make sure you're here.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Family.
Grab your waffles, your beer, your water, whatever you need, right?
That's right.
But anyway, just to jump back into it, Aerial Knights was the other one that I wanted to make sure that I touched on. The developer for it is Neil Jones. It's his own creative vision. And it's another one of those that I wanted to make sure.
Shout out to Iron Lords who had him on too. Yes. You guys want to go watch it? Awesome interview. Go watch. Please. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for bringing this one up, Steel. I appreciate it. Yep.
Aerial Knights, bro. Again, it's another one of those games. It's a platform, it seems like, that, again, it's made for somebody in the community who has a passion for it, and he's doing so many great things with it. From what we saw yesterday from it, I'm excited for it. I'm ready to play that game again from someone in the community that's putting dedication to love and the passion into it. Again, this is the reason why indies need that love and attention. This is the reason why it is up to us to make sure that we put them out there, because if we don't do it, who will? Again, I don't want us. I know we kind of started off with some slander. Now we're ending it with love, but it's our honest opinions. This is how we feel. Again, no, don't want to discredit the games. The games that they showed were magnificent. From indie games, from where they came almost 10 years ago, man, to now, man, the scene has changed, and indies are making, they're just on the scene and making a name for themselves. Just support Neil Jones. And what was his name? Josh?
Absolutely.
What was his name?
Joe.
And support Joe for Song of Iron. Man, two great guys. They're both awesome characters, man. And let's support their games as they come out. But yeah, man, I mean, that's pretty much it for that, man. Overall, the show wasn't for everybody. If you enjoyed it, man, fantastic. I don't want to take that away from anybody. Again, this is just our personal opinion, man. I feel like it could have been better. Again, for Microsoft to be hitting all the right notes, it's like they always move 5 steps forward, and they got to take a step back at some point. They can never keep moving forward. And it's a double-edged sword, man. Again, I'm not expecting for them to be perfect, but hey, be a little more in tune. Make sure that you're bringing the energy to your people, because that's what's important. Marketing, if you're trying to get stuff out there.
Hey, Steel. Why don't they just hire us, man?
Hey,
why don't they just hire us?
I'm just saying, man.
Look
I'm
at
here.
us.
I'm here.
We're bringing the energy.
Look, man, I'm so
Steel
hot.
and Pong. Pong and Steel. It don't matter. That's right. We'll come. Microsoft, Phil, Aaron, whoever's listening.
Thanks.
We'll be there for
Hit
you
us
guys,
up.
man.
I will tell you
it doesn't
right now.
matter. Listen to this. We already have more excitement for what's been shown than what we saw yesterday on Twitch. And that ain't slander. That's just personality. We would bring it. So hire us.
100%. But yeah, man. Other than that, I guess we kind of wrapped up that topic pretty nicely. Look.
Yeah. Real quick before we just move on, and we'll decide where we want to go to next. I wanted to just read the list of games that are coming to Game Pass for anybody who did not see that.
For sure.
This is the list out of those games from yesterday that are coming to Game Pass day and date.
Yes.
This stuff is amazing. So we got Art of Rally, Astria Ascending, Backbone, Boyfriend Dungeon is coming to Game Pass, Steel. Hey, I wonder if it's co-op, Steel. You and I. We might have to get down with that one. All right.
We might. I want to check that out.
Craftopia, which kind of looked like a Zelda-esque kind of game, looked really good. Dead Static Drive. Edge of Eternity.
Yes.
Hello Neighbor 2, which you shouted out. A lot of people are going to like that. Library of Runa. Little Witch in the Woods, which is from a Korean developer. Everybody check that one out. Looks really fun. I'm definitely gonna be checking that one out. Moonglow Bay, which we talked about. Narita Boy, which is coming out, I believe, on the 30th this week.
Okay.
I've already got it pre-downloaded. If anybody knows Narita Boy, check it out. It is a ode to the old school game Out of Worlds. Or Another World.
Okay.
If you remember back in the day, if you look those up, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's a unique style of game, super cool. I can't wait to try this one out. It may not be for everybody, but super cool style. I can't wait. Nobody Saves the World, which looks amazing. That's from Drinkbox, the guys who did Guacamelee.
Ooh,
that's their new IP. And that looks awesome. The color scheme, the graphics, the style, the animation looks fantastic. Check that one out. Omno, that was another one that caught my eye. Little dude, kind of, I don't even know how to explain it, but shadow kind of animation style. Looks fantastic. Omno is coming out to Game Pass. Recompile, Sable, which is on one of my lists. Cannot wait for that game. She Dreams Elsewhere. Stalker 2. Amazing. We're going to get Stalker 2 Game Pass day and date.
On console.
The Ascent. Woo! Can't wait. Undungeon, Way to the Woods, and Wild at Heart. All of those to Game Pass day and date. Can you believe it, Steele? Man,
it's insane.
Think about that.
It's hard to imagine.
These are just indies.
Yes.
These are just indies. These are just, and again, there's no slighting indies anymore because these games are like full-blown games. A lot of these games you could put up against AAA games that come out now.
Right.
So no slight to indies, but man, this is just one list from the upcoming games that we're going to see that are coming to Game Pass day and date. Man, the value just keeps going through the roof. I can't believe it.
Yeah, man, it's extremely insane. Again,
Yeah.
It's one of those things where we have to highlight it, man. Indies because indies have more of an open space to try things and, and not necessarily, I don't want to say, oh, they're here to fail or whatever the case might be. No, but it's kind of like, I know people are having a conversation after that show last night. Oh, indies this, indies that, big games. And they started talking about bigger games and why they don't take chances like indies do. And it's like when you have millions of dollars behind product or a certain game or whatever the case, it's hard to want to try new things. And that's why typically you'll see your bigger games take ideas from indies because those indie games are able to say, hey, let's try something different. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, I guess we're just going to have to go back to the drawing board and do it again. And that's what makes indies so great. They can change the gaming scene for the better, especially as we're moving into the next generation, as we're moving forward with technology. Again, I don't want people to be lost in the fact that things are not as they used to be. We have to get out of that mindset. Things aren't, every console iteration is going to be completely different. No, again, it's like I kind of mentioned earlier, we have to start treating our games like paintings, like art, like pieces of art that you can carry with you. Why make your consumer double pay, triple pay? Show your consumer that you value their dollar. Show the consumer why they should care, and give them more opportunity, give them more value, more bang for the buck, and just give them an unprecedented amount of, I guess, options. And again, that's what Indies does. And with that list, man, it just hits it out the park.
Yep.
Hey, and with that, I feel like that's another conversation down. Now, look, we can do a couple things here, man. We're almost 2 hours in. Again, much love to everybody in the chat. We appreciate y'all for coming through.
Is this where we take off our shirts?
We did discuss that. We did discuss that.
Okay,
but I don't think this is the one for it. But maybe that's like the second or third show. We got to keep them wanting.
Okay,
all
right. We'll save that one. All right.
But look, so we can do one of two things. We can lead off into another topic. But let's be honest. I do want to be honest with you. Halo's a conversation that's always going to be around.
It is.
There are some back conversations going on. Nothing in stone yet. That Halo, the Forge, and what they're doing potentially has an unlimited, no pun intended, but potential to change the gaming
Infinite, would you say?
Has an infinite amount of potential to change the scene. There you go. That's what I was looking for. But yes, literally, Halo Infinite has an infinite amount of potential, especially with what they're speaking on. I'll take five. I guess I'll take a quick 5 minutes, and if you want to make some comments, also, we'll run with that, and then we'll end it with that.
Sounds good.
Real quick, look. From what we're hearing in the background, they're doing something different with Forge. I don't know, for those who are familiar with Halo and what Forge has always brought to Halo, Halo has been able to take Forge in Halo has been able to take custom matches in game and take them to that next level. If it's like infection types or different Slayer modes, or
sorry, I'm just reading I'm sorry, Steve. I'm reading the comments.
No, you're good. That's what. I saw it too.
Shirts off.
I saw it too. I was trying not to laugh. But it's Forge has the potential to take Halo to places is that some people can imagine because they leave it completely open to the players. And then they put it in a browser system that if it gets them enough attention, then make it actual game modes. They're talking about they've opened up Forge so much to the point, and we don't know if it's because of the engine, if it's because of hardware. With it being a cross-gen game, I don't want to say it's because of hardware, but it could be. But they've opened it up to the point where they have literally said, we're hearing rumblings in the background that they can create any game mode that currently exists in any game, in one singular game. They said if they would have actually named those game modes or whatever the case might be, that they could run into some trouble. They could run into some trouble. You know, it could look like copying or whatever else the case might be, and start this whole other thing. So they've, yes, they talked about, apparently they talked about doing Battle Royale, but they didn't see, they didn't find a happy medium for what they felt like should be in Halo. So they're giving us everything to do a Battle Royale, but leaving it up to the players to make something that's going to be potentially a renowned game type across the board. Just knowing that opens up my mind so much because, again, Forge has always been an untapped potential, but now I feel like they're just taking it that step further. It's exciting news. It just pumps me that much more for Halo. There's a lot riding on it. But they now, again, with this extra year that they've had to work on it, from all the rumblings, they're sounding confident. That's what's important to me. Again, there was conversations a couple days ago where there were some people talking about Halo on the scene or whatever. And this, if you can believe it or not, since the first Halo, this is going to be the first Halo that has not been a rush job. They have been able to really, especially with this year off, been able to refine it and really dive into it and take their time and make sure that it's what they want to release. Whereas like what we've heard from Halo 2, 3, 4, and even 5, that they've all been kind of rush jobs, where it was like, oh, we didn't start really heavily working on the game until the last year. And there's other games that are like that, but when you hear that from Halo and you still see how great that story has been, and then to hear the news now, it's just exciting news, and I'm looking forward to it, man. How you feeling about it?
This is a huge opportunity. You know, I always preface every Halo conversation with, I am a casual Halo fan. I've enjoyed all of them, but I'm not hardcore. So my opinions aren't always based upon, you know, the fanaticism that comes with Halo, which is deserved. I mean, again, this is a beloved franchise, a pillar in all of gaming history. It is one of the pillars. Like I you know, see it right alongside the Marios and all that kind of stuff. And that's, again, there's what it did for the gaming industry, Halo's got to be respected for life. That period. And
exactly. Mm-hmm.
So when I hear this stuff, I'll go back to all my comments because I've talked about Halo a lot, right? And Microsoft went ahead and had the courage. You know, some people will call it, say that it was necessary. I don't think it was necessary. They could have launched it last year. They could have. They really could have. They could have launched it in that state like so many other games have done and then fix it down the road. And because it's Halo,
they said no. Yeah,
there would have been a ton of backlash, but a hardcore, the fans would have stuck around to see what they did with it, right? They would have been there. They could have done it that way. They chose not to, and I still think that took courage to do so, especially with a new console launch, with that being, you know, people like to say all the eggs in the basket. There was one. It was a golden egg. It was Halo. And they were betting everything on it. They were betting everything they had on it that it was going to launch with the series consoles. And it didn't. So when I hear this stuff, everything that I've been hearing as we go forward, including what you just spoke about, Steele, is that they legit are taking the year that they gave that team and they are going to use it to the fullest to create the ultimate experience for Halo fans and for non-Halo fans alike. They're trying to, and every game does this. So I'm not trying to make this like this is some new idea.
Right, exactly.
But every game tries to grab as many people as they can. But with Halo, they really are. They want to create an experience that people from, the hardcore Halo fanatics down to maybe people younger generation who hasn't even tried a Halo yet or,
Right.
or only saw Halo 5, right?
Mhm.
They want to try to bring everybody in. And their 10-year plan that they talked about is obviously real. And in order to have a 10-year plan, again, we've seen other games try this, right?
Mhm.
Destiny was supposed to be a 10-year plan.
Yeah.
They did well, but they moved to Destiny 2 pretty quick. So, but Destiny 2 now has some legs because they learned their lessons. But with Halo, in order to do that type of games as a service style, you have to have content.
Yes.
Okay? You have to have content. And if everything that you're talking about is true, right? If they are going to make this extensive forge like you've heard, like we've been hearing in the background, right? They do this. Now what you have is not only your internal dev teams from 343 creating content, but you have the community, which has always been a big part of Halo.
Yes.
But now you're taking it to a whole nother level. You're going to have the community building content for you, and that content could be the one that sticks. It could become an official game, an official version inside the Halo universe. We've seen it happen before in Halos, but you introduce that type of creativity to the community and allow them to play around in this sandbox style.
Yes.
All of a sudden you got more content that you know what to do with. And some of that content is going to be the stuff that keeps people around for 10 years.
Exactly.
And you know what? That there's nothing better than that, man. That's what this is about. And that's part of what the Halo lore is about as well, is that mystique that, hey, man,
100%.
there's people that, created all these different games within game and it became a big deal, right? So, and you could speak to that even more as a Halo fanatic about some of the stuff that's stuck around all these years, right? But that is a key importance. So they're taking this year, they are polishing this game. They seem, again, every game does this, but what I'm saying is that to take the courage to take this year, they are using this year to the fullest to polish the game, make sure the single player is on lock, that, when people get in the single player portion, the campaign portion, they are going to want to finish it and see what happens to Master Chief, right? Then you look at the multiplayer. We've already seen some of the screenshots from the multiplayer. We've already seen some of the work that they've been doing, and I've heard nothing but 80-90% positive about what's been shown, about the armor and about all that kind of stuff. And we already know they're going to have microtransactions. We already know they're going to do that. But if you do it right, it's fine. It's fine. If you want to buy colors for your armor, cool, man. Whatever. That's fine with me. But they're getting the multiplayer right. And then, we've heard about all this other stuff that they got planned, where, not only is the co-op experience is going to be something completely different as well, where you're going to be able to hop in with your buddies and just drive around and find, who knows, like instances. I'll call them instances just because everybody knows what those are, right? You're going to be able to find all these, you'll be able to drive, on the ring over to this base and decide to attack it. And they're talking about having multiple ways of being able to attack it if you want to. Well, so if you want to hop online with your buddies and have a co-op experience, we're like, hey, let's go find some trouble to get into. That's what you could do. Let's hop into Warthog. Let's drive off, man. Let's go see what's happening over here. That's what you're going to be able to do. And then you throw on top of it Forge, which is a whole separate game itself, because you're developing a game. But if they're going to make the tools so expansive that people are able to create, I think they gave the example of full battle royale mode, like you can create it in Forge, like all these different things. If you're able to do that and you give this community that freedom, and you're looking at something special, really special. I'm excited, and I'm a casual Halo fan, but I can't wait to jump in. I can't wait to see what people do.
Facts.
Absolutely.
Again, what's important to me, like I've been seeing people say in the chat, and everybody's been saying pretty much the same sentiment. Everybody's glad that they delayed it. I'm glad that they delayed it. Again, they could have just dropped it and updated it, but I feel like what they're trying to do with Halo, where they want Halo to be at, again, as we all know, it was supposed to be the golden egg. The golden egg had a little crack in it. So we're gonna have to try to see if
Wasn't ready.
we can make another golden egg.
Need some more time to hatch.
Yeah, exactly. We need to get a different fluorescent light or different color. I don't know, man. Maybe some better fertilizer.
Nesting wasn't right.
Yeah, the
wasn't
nesting
warm
wasn't
enough.
right. We didn't have the right chicken. I don't know what it was. But or hen.
Well, that's a whole
hen.
other topic right there.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. But it's exciting to know that they're taking it serious, and that's what's important to me. That their Xbox, Microsoft, again, and it's one of those complaints that everybody has tried to always have for Microsoft, at least on the Microsoft side, is that they don't take it serious enough. And now it's the perfect grounds for competition, and that's what's exciting to me. I'm excited for Halo to come out because it drives competition. If Halo goes back to being the top echelon, guess what? People are going to look across the pond and be like, what do you got? And correct. That drives competition, and that is what matters to me. And look, it is what it is. I feel like we beat that up too. So,
man, we've been killing it, dude.
Yeah, we
It's
have
been over 2 hours.
We have
2 hours, brother.
And we thought we were just gonna do 90-minute shows, maybe make it to 2 hours if we could.
Oh man, come on. You and I, two people who like to talk, like the sound of our own voice. Are you kidding me right now?
That's a fact.
Oh man.
But again, man, it was an excellent show. Much love.
First show,
man. Even with the technical difficulties in the beginning,
I didn't even remember those. I don't even remember those.
I don't know either. I've been so tied up that
nothing happened. Everything was fine.
Don't worry about it. You'll see it on the replay. It's all right. But yeah, man. Again, this was a fantastic show. I love this. I love this format. I love what we're doing. Hopefully, you guys are loving it too. Again, we're here to be that morning show to kick your weekends off. Right. No nonsense, straight to the points, delivering our opinions from a natural, energetic, as I like to say, live, raw, and uncut aspect. I feel like that's what matters, and that's what we need in gaming. And I want us, the biggest thing why I felt like this was such a great idea, I feel like in this spot, we have so much potential. We have so much room to grow. We have so many eyes that could look on us. And I feel like the more we get the more consistent we are as we do this on a week by week basis. As we get better, day by day, we're gonna do nothing but evolve. 9 a.m. Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Central, and what is it, 2 p.m. UK time?
No. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. You went backwards.
My fault.
Don't be confusing the people.
Hey,
now
that's
we're
my
going to have
fault.
people that show up. You know what? When there's 5 people
Let
in
me
here
erase
next week,
myself.
I'm blaming you. I'm blaming you next week when there's 5 people in here.
I'm just going to put my head. But yeah, man.
Stop confusing people.
My fault, guys. My fault. But yeah, again, we'll make sure that we get the time solidified. We'll make sure that all the time is solidified in every post that we make. We're definitely going to start. I know at least. I would love for us to start trying to promote this. If not every day, I do definitely want to do it at least twice, maybe 3 times a week, where we're just letting you guys know, hey man, get pumped up for the weekend, get involved, let your buddies know. If you know a friend that just is looking for some good content, some good energy, what's going on with the gaming industry itself. Again, we're not a singular type of show. This is not just Xbox. This is not just PlayStation. This is not just Nintendo. And it's not just PC. It's everything. We're talking about what's going on throughout every week, week by week basis, and also adding our own flavor, giving us what I think you guys would love the most, the natural authenticity that I feel like only me and Pong can give you guys. Again, much love to everybody that came out. I love all of y'all. Again, man, it's because of y'all that I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, man. Especially with how well we've just been going throughout the show. It seemed extremely natural. Nothing seemed out of place. Again, if y'all still got doubts, man, just keep staying tuned. This is how I come every time. Whether I'm doing it on GRG Friday nights, 8 p.m. Central, or we're doing it on Splitscreen, 9 a.m. Central, you know what I'm saying? Then You know what I mean? This is authenticity at its finest. And I feel like this is the whole point. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, no,
again,
this is
Pong, I appreciate you. Man. Much love. And again, man, if it wasn't for you reaching out, man, and saying, hey, man, I feel like we could do something. I don't know where we would be at today, but look at us, man. Living Split Screen. We took forever to come up with a name, but I'm glad it worked out. People are saying they're loving the layout. So again, man,
all thanks to you.
Well, hey, I appreciate it.
Man's talented. Don't let him tell you anything different out there. This man, Steel Rain, is talented, and he hides those talents. And he tries to say that, oh, no, I'm not talented.
I don't hide it. I don't like, me personally. I try to be as authentic and as honest as possible. I don't like to brag about things that I'm not as well versed in as I used to be. But I'm glad that you guys are loving the layout, Pong. I'm glad that you love the layout, man. As my co-host, man. Look.
Yep.
I appreciate you being here. I appreciate us doing this. And then, hey, man, here's to you, man. What's going on?
Thanks, brother. Man, this was a great first show. Steel, first of all, thank you for saying yes, man, when I reached out. I mean, again, without that, you wouldn't be here either. And then you putting in all the work to get the layouts done and everything, man. Again, when I was looking for somebody, again, you were first. You popped in my head instantaneously, and I'm glad I trusted my instincts with that one, because I knew you and I could build something together, and be a co-host in something, because again, we both like to talk. If anybody doesn't understand this, we just did a 2-hour show. It feels like it's only been about 30 minutes.
Yes.
Because
100%.
You and I together like to talk. There are people that have a hard time putting 2-hour shows together with 6 people on the panel. This is me and Steel.
I don't think we had any dead air. I don't mean to excuse you, but I don't feel like we had any dead air. It was constant.
Done.
You know?
Done. And again, we didn't plan like anything other than the general thing. So again, chat, thank you all, man. Love to all of you. You guys killing me out there with the comments, and with all you guys showing up here. Again, to have 35 likes on our first show, people checking in with us. I mean, honestly, this community is one of the best things. I started out in the chat, and it means the world to me. I'm still in the chat. You guys know this. But the support and the love that you guys showed today means everything. It is one of these things that when you have an idea, you don't know how it's going to go, and you just hope for the best. And like Steele said, we're not going to talk about the little technical stuff we had in the beginning. For God's sakes, I was on mute. You'd think I was a noob to this. Are you kidding me right now, man? Seriously? But the way that the show flowed is exactly how Steele and I thought about it when we were talking it out, and when we were saying, we were laying out what we wanted. And yes, today was a little Xbox heavy just because of how the news cycle was. But trust us, we're going to talk about everything and everybody in this industry. There is no limits. It's going to be whatever topics come up. Chat, we're going to continue to get you guys more involved as we go along too. We want to start getting, topics from you guys, or just questions, all that kind of stuff. We're going to continue to do that as we move forward. Like Steele said, we're going to grow into these roles that we have here as co-hosts on this show. And we hope that you guys will stick it out. We hope that you'll share it out and let everybody know that, hey, there's a great new morning show on Saturdays. You got nothing going on, you're doing work, just have this on in the background, because these two guys bring energy. They obviously speak from the heart. It's kind of a free-flowing show that is organic in nature, and that's what we want. Right? We don't want it to become some kind of structured, news show only, right? And we're going to have some jokes. We're going to have some laughs. That's what we're here to do.
Exactly.
And appreciate you all for coming out. And Steele, thank you again for all the work you've done, brother, to make this happen. I could not be more ecstatic with our first episode, man. I could not. Like I said, I feel like I've been here for maybe 30 minutes, and it's been over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Man. It's crazy.
It's great. It's insane. Time flew by. Like, I feel like, especially with this first episode, man, it went so much better than we could have even tried to plan it. Again, we planned for a free flowing show, and that's what we got. That's what we did. Again, like Pong was saying, things are going to evolve. It wasn't meant to be an Xbox heavy show. Again, that's how the news is going to work. And that's pretty much how it's going to go every time. Depending on how the news shifts, or depending on how we, want to flow, things will change. And again, Much love.
We
to
might
y'all,
be
man.
talking mobile phones one weekend.
You never know. You know what I'm
big
saying?
happens on mobile gaming, man. We might be all about it.
You never know. Genshin Impact hit hard. You never know what's going to be next.
That's correct.
So,
That's correct.
But anyway, guys, much love to y'all. I appreciate you guys for checking out Living Split Screen. Somebody said in the chat, your Saturday morning cartoons.
That's right.
But I don't want to just call it a podcast. I want to call it the morning show. The Living Split Screen with Pong and Steel. It's your morning show every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern.
There you go.
2 p.m. UK time. And look, y'all just check us out, share it out, hit that like button. Y'all did fantastic for us tonight, man. And again, it's as authentic as we can be, and I hope that's what y'all are enjoying it.
Steel, tell them where they can find you, by the way, man.
If I didn't say, damn, I missed. I'm still not used to outro.
No, that's okay.
My outro.
You and I are just talking, man. We can do this for another 2 hours, man.
No, that's a fact. I mean, we probably will. All fair, you know what I mean? But
Right.
Look, you can find me every Friday, 8 p.m. on GRG, where we get it live from the 405 with my big dog K Mega Man. We give it to you live.
Show.
We give it to you live and raw. We got a panel of people that just bring it to you raw and uncut. Many varying opinions. And again, it's another one of those shows that if you haven't checked out, definitely come check us out, man. And again, every Saturday morning, we're gonna be here. So again, guys, much love. Appreciate everyone to come out. And yeah, that's all I got. Much love to everyone.
All right. Well, I'll get my outro and we'll get everybody out of here. Again, you guys have been amazing. Thanks for sticking around through all of our talking at the end here, but we do appreciate you all. Again, Pong Soul everywhere, Xbox, Twitter, you know the deal. Friday nights, Xbox Ultimate. Man, we've got a big panel over there now, man. We got a big family is what we're calling it over there, man. It's crazy. But Friday nights, Xbox Ultimate. Mav, aka Fun Speculation, his channel, his wife Caitlin. We've got 3-Bit. We've got Assassin Lupa back, and we see her in the chat today. We got Psychonauts 8, and then we just also added Lady AF. So man, we got a full squad over there. Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Central time. Be there. We do an aftercast game, usually Halo Master Chief. So you guys, everybody's welcome to show up. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. Just jump on in. And then Saturdays, obviously Living Split Screen here. Again, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 2:00 p.m.
And actually,
UK time.
Actually, Lupa just kind of gave us a correction. She said next week it's going to be 3 p.m. UK time.
Okay. Next week is 3 p.m. UK time. Thank you, Assassin Lupa. This is why we need our European friends.
Exactly.
That's why we need them, because I can't do this time thing, man. Especially with you guys move your clocks later than us. It's crazy. But anyways, Living Split Screen every Saturday. Tonight, Saturday nights, I am on the Shop Podcast with PTK Blam. Just celebrated his 200th episode 2 weekends ago. Man, he's been doing it for a long time. Great show. Fuzzy Belvedere, who was in our chat today. Shout out to Fuzzy. And then we got Stagorilla and Centurion, and that starts now at 9 p.m. Eastern time as well, if I'm correct, because again, the name change or the time change, PTK does not change. So therefore it kind of screwed up last week, but it's 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's the Shop Podcast. Quick show, fun. Be there. Tuesday mornings, Tuesday afternoon, whatever you want to call it, Xbox Factor podcast with Boom and Zemi Games. I just joined. It was Xbox One-on-One, but of course, Boom added me and had to change up the name, so he just did an extension of the Factor podcast. So that's going to be on 12 Eastern time on Tuesday. So catch me there with Boom and Zemi. Otherwise, again, it's been said a million times, but thank you all for joining us for our first episode. Nothing but love to everybody. And as I like to say before we get out of here, play what you love what you play. That's what it's all about, people. Keep it positive, keep it real. This is gaming, and we're all here just enjoying a fantastic hobby. So thank you all again, and we'll see you next week.
Peace. Much love to y'all.